for Defense, Minister for National Guidance, Government Chief Whip, and the Leader of Opposition in a follow-up to the issues to do with the response of government on cases of people whom the opposition reported to have disappeared, and government had not yet come out to clearly state whether it has them or not. So we held the meeting, and in that meeting we found that the documents we had were not conclusive, so the meeting was not conclusive. We've agreed that on Tuesday at 10, we have a meeting which will be conclusive on those matters, very conclusive, so that in the afternoon of Tuesday we report to this House. Because what we are handling is not between us, is not for us as leaders in the House. It's for the country, it's for the whole of this House. And if there are any new cases, we agreed that they should also be shared, like there is a case which ROP immediately shared. So on Tuesday is when we shall handle this matter on the floor of this House, after we finished our meeting, which will take place at 10. And we agreed on the delegations that we shall be in that meeting. Today is your day. I want to have more of your issues sorted today, because I have very many issues pending. So we shall be having a few items on the order paper which we shall handle, and then I open up. The Prime Minister is about to come to the House. I hope ministers are also about to be here, most of them, so that we do tackle issues of members. Because Thursday, from our side as presiding officers, is the day we want members' issues to be raised, to do with their constituencies and all that. Yeah. So, next item.
Item 3, motion seeking leave of Parliament to move a private member's bill entitled the Law Revision Miscellaneous Amendment Bill 2022.
Yes, on this matter, I received a call from the Attorney General, who shared with me and the Right Honourable Speaker extensively how he was ready and how he was just waiting for space on the order paper. And this is an item he has been working on for some time. So I consulted with the mover of the motion, and we agreed that indeed we can give the Attorney General up to Tuesday to come and present the bill. If he doesn't, then we shall continue with the private member moving course. So, yes. The Honourable Asman.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Indeed,
Rope, we had also earlier on agreed in this House that shadow ministers should occupy the front bench.
yes.
So if there is any shadow minister who is behind, please come and take your seat, because the front bench is for shadow ministers as a priority. Yeah. And if you know you're occupying a space for the shadow minister, in case they get full, please take leave, so that we need to know the shadow ministers. Some of them say I'm a shadow minister and we don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Rope has started comparing the front benches. Yes, Honourable Asuman.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. With the permission of the LOP, he has allowed me to speak from here. I was going to speak from the other side, so he said I come here. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you. Just to confirm the position you've communicated. I thought, Right Honourable Speaker, that the learned Attorney General would be here to highlight on the bill, but now that he's not here, just to confirm that law revision is a very wide thing. So we only hope that the bill that government brings will cover aspects that are in this private members bill. Because, Right Honourable Speaker, this private members bill is talking about aspects of associational freedoms. There are cases that have nullified provisions in the Public Order Management Act that impact on freedom.
Point of order.
The Honorable Asman knows that Mr. Speaker, the point of order I am raising, you have said the Attorney General will table the bill next week. And our rules don't allow us to debate in anticipation. And the Honorable Asman Vasario is a senior lawyer. He has represented me many times. Is he in order, with full knowledge, to seek to violate the rules of Parliament by inviting Parliament to begin debating something that has not been presented? Is he in order?
Honorable Asman is not in order for you to start discussing what has been not presented. So lucky enough you have confirmed what we discussed. So let's move on to...
And I withdraw my legal services to Honorable Semuju with effect from now. But Right Honourable Speaker, I just thought that the Attorney General would be here to confirm the position we have agreed. But now that he's not here, we will wait for Tuesday, inshallah.
Thank you.
Item number 4.
Clerk, I want to now go to the report of the Committee on Public Service, be presenting. Once the Prime Minister comes in, I will open up to matters of national importance and Prime Minister's time. And then we will handle other items later.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on a petition on salary enhancement disparities for nurses and interns.
Chair. Chair, you have 30 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I present the report on of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on petition on salary enhancement disparities, discrepancies for nurses and the
Chair, can you get closer to the microphone so that you can be very audible?
I have a copy of the minutes of meetings we held with the different stakeholders and also a copy of the report. I beg to lay. Right Honourable Speaker, at the sitting of the third meeting of the 11th Parliament, first session of 11th Parliament.
Chair, allow me to interrupt you just a little.
It's okay.
So that I sort this because our guests might go before we can recognize them. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation of religious leaders headed by Reverend Anthony Opito from Bakaro Parish, Kore District, represented by Honorable Peter Ochen and Honorable Jake Judis. They've come here to observe proceedings of this House. Colleagues, join me in welcoming them. You can stand up for recognition. Thank you. You're always welcome. This is your house. Thank you. Let's go on. Chair.
Right Honourable Speaker, At the sitting of the third meeting of the first session of the 11th Parliament of Uganda, held on Wednesday, 4th May 2022, Honorable Ruth Molly Ondoru, Member of Parliament for Maracha East, presented to Parliament a petition on salary enhancement discrepancies for nurses and interns in line with the collective bargaining agreement and the Presidential Directive for the financial year 2022-2023 by the Uganda Nurses and Midwives Council. The petition was referred to the Committee on Public Service and Local Government in accordance with the Rule 30, subsection 6 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The Committee on Public Service and Local Government examined the petition, model in detail, made inquiries, and in accordance to Rule 30, subsection 7, hereby presents this report. Methodology: the committee held consultative meetings and reviewed submissions from the following stakeholders: the petitioner, Honorable Ruth Molly Ondoru, MP Maracha East, the Minister of Public Service, Health Service Commission, the Federation of Uganda Nurses and Midwives, Uganda Medical Interns Union, Association of Graduate Nurses and Midwives of Uganda. Background: the petition was premised on the following. A. The petitioners are aggrieved by the continued implementation of the terms of the 2018 Collective Bargaining Agreement intended to streamline the salary discrepancies among various categories of medical professionals. B. The nursing profession in Uganda has over the decades evolved, with the nurses acquiring super specialized skills to handle complicated 21st century high-tech medical challenges and equipment in various specializations. C. Currently, the pool created by the nursing resource contributes over 70% of the staffing level of Uganda's health system, which is highly multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral. D. With the training and the passion nurses have over the years demonstrated tremendous commitment to serving the country's healthcare system, from health center grade 2 to regional and national referral hospitals, as demonstrated during the challenging national health crisis of COVID-19 pandemic. E. Despite the commitment and dedication of working for long hours alongside doctors in the same risk environment, nurses continued to be heavily disgruntled and demotivated due to the continued underpayment and non-recognition as important players in the medical care service delivery chain. F. The failure of the Ministry of Health and Public Service to implement the schemes of service for the nursing and midwifery cadre 2027 regarding recruitment and promotions has further resulted in continued improper recruitment, promotion, and failed retention of well-trained nurses and midwives. G. In bid to address the remuneration challenges faced by nurses and medical interns, the government, through a collective bargaining agreement, reached a consensus with different public service unions whose terms are supposed to be implemented in the financial year 2022-2023. Item 4.0, the prayers and the committee observations. Item number 1, prayer number 1, government fulfills its commitment under the collective bargaining agreement to enhance nurses' salaries in financial year 2022-2023. Committee observation. The Ministry of Public Service issued a circular, standing instruction number 1 of 2022, dated 1st July 2022, which is Annex 1, indicating that a wage bill of shillings 5,985,040,000,000 has been allocated for the financial year 2022-2023. This represents an increment of shillings 509 billion 29 million, which represents 9.3% for the wage from the wage bill of previous financial year 2021-2022 of 5,476,011,000,000 under the management of payroll-related allowances in the financial year 2022-2023. The allowances of all the medical officers, regardless of the deployment, were enhanced from the financial year 2022-2023 to remove disparities, promote mobility, and enhance career growth, among other benefits. Under Section 6 of the circular, page 22 to 26, salary structure for medical workers and health tutors consolidated for the financial year 2022-2023 are indicated as below. Right Honourable Speaker, I don't know whether I should read that. I think members could...
Members have iPads. Clerk, ensure you capture the whole report on the Hansard.
So, honourable members, the increments are there. When you look at the commissioner, the increment in terms of percentage is 65.5. That is from a monthly salary of 7.3 to 12.1. For assistant commissioner, increment is from 4.6 to 6.5. For district assistant district health officer, 3.5 to 4.9. So the list goes there. And when you look at some of the percentage increments for other staffs, it is above 100%. So you can read through that list. So the committee noted that the committee noted that prayer 1 of the petition has been catered for and adequately provided for in the MDS budget for financial year 2022-2023, as evidenced by the table above. Prayer number 2. Government, through the Ministry of Health, pays lower cadres, diplomas, and certificates the emoluments agreed upon in the collective bargaining agreement 2018. Under Section 6 of the circular, standing instruction number 1 of 2022, dated 1st July, Annex 1, page 24 to 26, salary structure for medical workers and health tutors consolidated, indicating lower cadre in the health sector for financial year 2022-2023 were enhanced. The table below indicates the enhancement of all medical officers with the diploma and the certificates. So in this category, senior nursing officer, which is U4, that is special executive, initially was earning 2.2, but after the enhancement, they are going to earn 4.4. That is 104% increment. When you look at senior public health nurse, that is U4, senior executive. This one was also earning they were earning 2.2. With the increment, it has also gone to 4.4. That is 100.4% increment. So the list follows, as I had said earlier. The committee noted that prayer number 2 of the petition had been catered for and adequately provided for in the MDA's budget for financial year 2022-2023, as evidenced by the table above. Prayer number 3, government through the ministries of public service and health harmonizes the salary discrepancies between nurses, midwives, medical interns, and other medical practitioners, including doctors and pharmacists. Under the management of payroll-related allowances, in the financial year 2022-2023, the allowances of all medical officers, regardless of their deployment, enhanced career growth. Was enhanced from financial year 2022-2023 to remove disparities, promote mobility, and enhance career growth, among other benefits. This is evidenced in the circular, standing instruction number 1 of 2022, issued on the 1st July 2022. The committee noted that prayer number 3 of the petition was based on inadequate information as evidenced by the Schedule 6 of the Circular Standing Instruction Number 1 of 2022 issued by the Ministry of Public Service on the 1st July. Prayer number 4. Government through its relevant committee ensures that the Health Service Commission fast-tracks the designation of nurses according to the schemes of service for nurses and midwives to 2018 to regularize nursing and midwifery terms of service. Committee observation. Ministry of Public Service issued a standing order instruction number 14 of 2017 on the scheme of service for nursing and midwives cadres in Uganda Public Service, that is Annex 2. The grading of qualification, career progression, and recruitment is provided for in the scheme. The committee, while interacting with the Health Service Commission, learned that for the job title enrolled nurse U7, the education requirement is a certificate in nursing. The job title nursing officer. U5 special executive, the education requirement is diploma in nursing. The committee further observed that the scheme of service shows the level of care of which the enrolled nurses and assistant nursing officers are deployed. The committee noted that prayer number 4 of the petition was based on limited information, and the scheme of service issued by the Ministry of Public Service has streamlined the grading of nurses and midwives as per the Standing Order Instruction number 14 of 2017. Prayer number 5. Government through the Uganda Health Service Commission desists from advertising jobs that consider a bachelor's degree in nursing as an added advantage than a requirement. Committee observation. The committee observed that the Ministry of Public Service issued a standing order instruction dated 27th December 2017 on the scheme of service for nursing and midwives cadre in Public Service Annex 3. The grading of qualifications, career progression, and recruitment is provided for in the scheme. The table below represents the existing grading of nursing and midwifery cadres. Number 1 there is commissioner nursing. Here the education requirement is bachelor's degree in nursing, master's in nursing or midwifery, or public health, or postgraduate diploma in public administration. These ones, their level of deployment is at Ministry of Health. Assistant Commissioner Nursing, that is U1E. That is, the education requirement is bachelor's degree in nursing, master's in nursing, or midwifery, or public health, or postgraduate diploma in public administration. These ones are also deployed at the Ministry of Health. Assistant District Health Officer, that is U2 Special Executive, bachelor's degree in nursing, or midwifery, or public health, or postgraduate diploma in public administration. These ones are deployed at District Health Office. Senior Principal Nursing Officer, that is U2 Special Executive, the education requirement is bachelor's degree in nursing, master's in nursing, or midwifery, or public health, or postgraduate diploma in public administration. These ones are deployed at Ministry of Health, or national referral hospitals, or regional referral hospitals. So the list is very long. Honor members, I will request you will read that through because they are up to like 17 categories. The committee further reviewed Health Service Commission's advert number 2 of March 2022, which is marked as the Annex 4, for the positions of Senior Principal Nursing Officer and the Senior Assistant Nursing Officer for Naguru Hospital and the Moroto Regional Referral Hospital, respectively, and noted that the adverts did not indicate the degree as an added advantage for job requirements as alleged in the petition. Neither did the petitioners prove to the committee the allegations. Appearing before the committee, the chairperson of Health Service Commission informed the committee the commission advertises vacancies based on the approved scheme of service for nursing and midwifery by the Ministry of Public Service. The committee noted that prayer number 5 of the petition was not based on the facts on ground, and the scheme of service issued by the Ministry of Public Service has streamlined the grading of nurses and midwives. Number 5, conclusion. The committee noted all prayers of the petitioners have been adequately addressed by government, and therefore the committee didn't see any tangible justification to uphold the prayers. Whereas government has enhanced the salaries of medical workers regardless of their deployment for the financial year 2022-2023, the reality on ground is different, since the wage bill is not matching the releases. The funds being disbursed is based on the previous wage bill before the salaries were enhanced, leading to wage shortfalls in many local governments. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to move.
Thank you. Procedure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank the committee for the report. The procedural matter I'm raising is that one of the prayers was in terms to discrepancies in the pay for the medical interns, that is the intern doctors, intern pharmacists, and the intern nurses. And last month, there was a strike by the medical interns, and they raised an issue about discrepancies in regard to the allowances, which from what the committee has presented, they have presented the discrepancy in the salaries for the entry-level officers. However, there was the issue on implementation or discrepancy in the implementation of the pay for the interns. For example, this report...
What is the procedural matter you're
So
raising?
the procedural matter I'm saying is that last month, there was a matter of national importance raised in regard to the discrepancies in the salary for medical interns, which has not been handled adequately here. However, it is mentioned within this report. So I would like to request that procedurally, would indeed be better that this aspect of the medical interns be handled separately, because the Minister of Health had been asked to give a report on that discrepancy. And once we have it here and shows that it is resolved, then there seems to be a procedural challenge in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable colleague. Number one, really, that was a matter you should have raised in a debate. Okay? It's a matter you should have raised during a debate. It's not a procedural matter at all. Because now I can't strike out part of the report. It's a decision of the House. And yet, on procedural matters, should be ruled on by the Speaker. So the Speaker cannot rule that, strike out part of... No, now you're going to cause more problems. You're causing problems, you want to cause more. Please, Chair, you will have a chance to respond to issues raised. So, I want to take this as an issue raised. So, Minister and Chair take note. You will have to respond to this issue. Usually the practice, colleagues, in such a matter, we first call on the colleague who brought, the Honorable colleague, who brought the motion, who brought the petition. So is Honorable More Ondoro here? Okay, if she's not here, I'll have to open up this for debate. I usually call on the Minister to first give a few highlights, but the report is in favor of the Minister. So it will be more or less repeating what the report has said. Whatever the Minister presented to the committee has been accepted and adopted. So in the interest of time, I don't need to disturb the Minister. Maybe other issues which will come during the debate. The question for debate will be whether the House should adopt the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the petition on salary enhancement discrepancies for nurses and interns. And the debate starts now. I'll start with Honorable Amos, Honorable Achon, our workers, Honorable Yakatonda, Honorable Ndiomjenyiroran, and Doctor. Thank you. I'll pick more. Honorable Macho Satan, I will pick you.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker.
I'll give 3 minutes.
The Right Honorable Speaker, this report was a petition, which that means there was some other issues to be looked upon. And we thank the committee for having gone through this. Mr. Speaker, issues about salary enhancements and issues regarding wages, it cut across not only to nurses and other medical practitioners. It goes even beyond. I have come across many people who complain that even their name from the payroll got lost, has been deleted. And because of that, it's a struggle for them to go back to the payroll, which needed at least the public service to take an interest so that they can follow up all those, because those are Ugandans who are serving the nation. Mr. Speaker, there's this point that the committee decided to drop it. But in the table that the committee forwarded, that the adverts for Naguru and Moroto for the senior principal nursing officer and senior assistant nursing officer, that in the adverts it was not indicated that degree is an added advantage for that job requirements. But still, even the committee went further by indicating for you to become a senior principal nursing officer or assistant nursing officer, you are supposed to have a degree, bachelor degree. And again, when you see in their recommendation, they say they were not satisfied to the presentations that came from the petitioners. Those who are petitioned this petition us. Therefore, they found it right not to continue. Mr. Speaker, there's a practice that always happens in very many government institutions. You find somebody either is working there with a low level of qualification, but the person is protected. When they bring out adverts, they don't indicate the right qualification, so that the person who is having a low qualification can benefit out of that. And if people who are surrounded and are near and they have noted, they bring a cry out of this. So I think the committee would have not dropped, because this was a cry. People cried that, you know, for you to become a senior principal nursing officer, you're supposed to have minimum degree level. Now, then you said we did not, in our adverts, we did not indicate that you should have it. Therefore, even though you have a diploma, you can go for it. This point, I don't agree with the committee.
Next. I had picked you, colleagues. If you know I picked you and you know where to be seen, then yeah, if you're not interested.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speakers. And I would like to thank the committee on the report. Honourable Speaker and honourable members, we are aware we are here because we are healthy. If you are not healthy, I don't think you wouldn't be here in this cool place. Right Honourable Speaker, there's a lot of challenge in the medical department. Not only in medical, there are other institutions where there's a lot of challenges, even like security. But this right moment, I think, is the right time for us to consider. In most cases, when you go to the government health center, some of these workers, they're so frustrated, they just look at you, they don't want to work on you. Because they are not being paid for a couple months. Some are frustrated, their children are home, they are not fed, they have not gone to school. So this is one of the advice I would really urge our government to come up to make sure let our medical panel be really increase in their payment. 2 months ago, we had the challenges in LEERO medical department. We all aware there was a big strike in LEERO. About 100 staff were on strike. They were not paid for 3 months. Not that this even come to schools. For example, I would put one of the security department called Folcom in Mukono. You find one person is paying 100,000 and the person is working the whole night. How would you expect such a person to take care of you as a big person? So I want to argue and I support this committee. Let us encourage and we share a hand to make sure the medication or the medical team are being supported. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Jakatonda.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for considering the process of the motion. Right Honorable Speaker, most of these things are constitutional. Under Article 29(1)(e), it mandates to give rights to people to form associations and unionize. Under Article 40, Clause 3, it emphasizes the issue of forming associations and right to collective bargaining, Right Honorable Speaker. And based on those articles, Parliament came up with an act in 2008 called the Public Service Negotiating, Consultative and Dispute Settlement Machinery of 2008, duly assented to, Right Honorable Speaker. In this article, under Section 3, they say all government departments, ministries, local governments shall have consultative committees that shall handle issues of salary, promotions, disputes. So, Right Honorable Speaker, the point I'm alluding to is that as government, as Parliament, we need to urge government to consider these available laws. When these available laws are actually put into action, Uganda is destined to have a very motivated workforce, and at the end of the day, we shall develop. Right Honorable Speaker, for example, recently His Excellency gave a directive that all the COVID-19 nurses, doctors, about 600 people who worked under COVID-19 be absolved. Right Honorable Speaker, up to date, these people are still languishing in poverty. We have not actually done this. And my prayer there for Right Honorable Speaker on this is that let's consider the action taken report by the responsible ministries, such that we know when are they really coming up with this and implementing this directive, so that at least when the pandemic comes tomorrow, people can be actually motivated to work. Right Honorable Speaker. So, Right Honorable Speaker, that said, I think even the recommendation of the committee, let's actually, I beg to pray that they consider the action taken report so that we know the time frames when they will be implemented. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members.
You see, colleagues, we have a question for debate. When we are debating, I need you to give your position, whether you agree with the findings of the committee or not, so that we don't just have general statements. If they continue, I will understand that indeed you agree, and then we vote on it and we go on other items, because I have a long order paper. Okay? Yeah. So, I had picked Honorable Yomjeni.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank the committee for the report. But for starters, I think the committee did not do adequate work to come to the conclusion. The reason why I'm saying this is that when you look at their observations, they differ from the conclusion. I'll give an example. The committee looked at the lump sum of salary increment, but I believe that the petitioners had their grievances that they wanted the Parliament to tackle. And when you look at the lump sum as a salary increment and make a conclusion that the issue has been sorted, to me, I think that is not enough. The committee didn't look, for example, at the payrolls of those nurses and midwives to ensure that those discrepancies they are talking about actually exist. Secondly, the chairperson has submitted that when these salary increments were effected, the money is not being released to the local government to pay these nurses and midwives. So to me, what this means is that the increment is air. Because if you increase my salary, you don't pay it to me, then the committee says the issue has been sorted by the standing order. To me, I think that would mean I'm getting the money in words, but I'm not getting the actual cash. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I think the committee ought to have done further analysis, hospital by hospital, the whole ministry, you know, to ensure that what they are bringing here as their conclusion that this petition has no merit, because that's what they are saying, they didn't do enough work to warrant reaching this conclusion. I beg to submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Doctor.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. For record purposes, I'm Dr. Ndiwalana Christine, representing Bukomansimbi North County. I would like to thank the Minister for the report he presented, but the report was... the
report was presented by the chairperson.
By the chairperson, rather. But according to the prayers, the report was indicating that the matters which were raised in the report were worked on by the government. I would like to inform the chair that if the matters were worked on, then the strikes were not even going to be taking place by today. You can see how the medics are striking just because they are not satisfied. Secondly, concerning the discrepancy in the payments of the salaries, I would like to inform you that it forces medics to be involved in corruption, and yet we are trying to fight corruption here. So I would like to ask the Minister of Health to think about the medics. They are working under terrible operation risks. As you can see, the infectious diseases, when we are going through COVID-19, Ebola, you find that we are losing very many lives for the medics. And we don't have any payments for the risks taken. So, concerning that, I think we should raise the salaries. And before, people used to say that every fool can be a nurse. We should think and know that today they are educated and they want to become a nurse or any cadre in medical. You must have had all the sciences passed well. So I would like the nurses to be paid according to the way they are performing their duties, because they struggle a lot, and all other medical cadres. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Macho. Susan Buvuma.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to thank the chair and the committee for the good job done. Mr. Speaker, I see in the report of the chair, or in the recommendation of the chair, there is a lack of political goodwill towards salary enhancement. I expected the recommendation that government should have goodwill towards fulfilling its promises that it tells our workers, not only the health staff, concerning the salaries. Because if this is not done on time, it is what results into what we saw recently, whereby the president, Samuel Eledu, of Uganda Medical Association, to kneel before the president to beg for salary enhancement. And you know, in my clan, doctors don't kneel, medical doctors. Doctors who kneel are witch doctors. Therefore, it brought a very, very bad picture to the medical profession, until Honorable Tamaguzi told me that the medics of this country are now buying for political will so that their salaries are really increased. I would have got annoyed with Honorable Tamaguzi, but I kept quiet because this is what I want to agree with the Member of Parliament of Workers, who said that the workers in this country are not using their trade unions and associations to bargain. But however, I pray that the committee would have put in an element of political goodwill. But I know some of statements come when we are pushed on the walls as leaders, when we need votes to cross over to the next level of leadership. I therefore, Mr. Speaker, note that the committee had an oversight on that matter. It would have been included so that the petition has a lot of content to help our medics to achieve the objective of having salary increment. Thank you.
Thank you. But Honorable colleague, the chair of the committee has to limit himself or herself within the prayers of the petition. You can't go outside the prayers of the petition. Okay? Yeah. There's Honorable Susan, then Honorable Noah, then Honorable Judith Adiek. Procedure, Honorable James Kuweketeria.
Mr. Speaker, I'm raising on a point of procedure. We are talking about salary enhancement of nurses and interns. And I'm getting flabbergasted because the interns are in training. Is it us to determine salaries of people who have not been employed? Are we talking about something to do with the allowances which are meant to manage? Because we are mixing the two, the nurses and the interns, and that's why we are missing the point. So are we procedurally moving rightly?
Honorable, you see, in a debate, depends on how you proceed. Now what you've done, you've debated. For example, no, I cannot. We are debating a report, the findings of the report, which was out of a petition. So maybe at a time we accepted the petition on the floor, if you had moved that, we amend that. But the fact that we allowed a petition to go the way it was, we sent it to the committee and it was processed, we must debate the findings of the committee and we make a resolution on them. So otherwise I would be amending the petition along the way if I took that route. Yes, Honorable Susan?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the committee or the chairperson for the report, but also apart from salary increment to these nurses, I would also want the committee to also consider the general welfare of these nurses, because for instance in the islands where I represent as the Member of Parliament for Uvuma District, you find that there are a lot of challenges. These people face so many challenges. For example, they walk long distances, they are moving on water, and on top of that, they don't have good accommodation. They don't stay in Uvuma. And we find that their services they are delivering, they are not so good to our people, the citizens of Uvuma. And also, these people need special allowances, like because they are working in vulnerable areas, like the islands, and we consider them also to be vulnerable. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I request the committee that though they have brought this report, but they make some amendments for special allowances for people working in vulnerable areas. Thank you.
Honorable, that would be wrong, because it would mean the committee amending the prayers and introducing new prayers. But you've raised a very important matter, which the sectoral committee, which is the Committee on Health, should pick up. Honorable Noah?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I am happy that the committee has tabled a report over salary enhancement of nurses. Mr. Speaker, there are other sectors which are also suffering the same. When you go to secondary schools, you will find out that there are teachers who are recruited at diploma level. For the last 10 years, they went back to school, they pursued their bachelor's degree, they are graduates, and they have been teaching with their diplomas for 10 years, no salary enhancement. Even primary. Mr. Speaker, my humble request is that I pray that as we handle salary enhancement for nurses, we go back to all sectors and enhance salaries for all sectors. I beg to submit. I thank you.
Honorable Judith Adiek, procedure, Honorable Narima.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I was fully engaged in this debate. as we are handling this petition. And Right Honorable Speaker, as we are seeing these submissions, won't it be procedural right? Whoever is coming up tells the House what petition number that person is handling, such that now us as the committee, we can later on, as the chairperson comes here, know that probably here we handled it well or not, so that members, as they're submitting on this floor, they're in position to tell us the number as per the petition they are submitting on. I beg to move and procedural ask you whether it won't be better if we are aided as a committee. I was unable to sign because I was in Juba. I thank you.
Yeah, Honorable, it would be better, but from the practice here, I found when I become restrictive, I deny very many members a chance. So since a member, as long as a member confines themselves, their submissions, to what is within the report, then I'm okay. And that's why I was always guiding, I have been guiding on issues outside the report. I tell you, this is outside the mandate of the committee, this is outside the report. But generally, if it is within the report, I don't need to say this page, this petition number, prayer number, though it would be the best thing to do, but for easy flow of the debate, let's be accommodative. Yes, Honorable Judith Adiak, you are next.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chair of the committee for bringing this report. Right Honorable Speaker, we are aware that there are discrepancies not only between the nurses and interns, there are also others. Right Honorable, together with members of Parliament present here, I worked in the medical sector before I came to Parliament. And I also acted as DHO, and I also worked as a senior environmental health officer. Right Honorable, we have been observing these issues moving in and out. But they are bodies for medical workers. Right Honorable, we have allied health professionals. We have nurses and midwifery council. We also have dental and medical practitioners. These are bodies that all these workers belong to. Right Honorable, there is no uniformity in the way the salaries are enhanced across these bodies. Because when we talk about interns and we talk about nurses, it means we are leaving out other cadres. Like in the allied health professionals, we have clinical officers, we have environmental health officers, those are public health workers. We have also many that really the salary enhancement is affecting them. It's affecting everyone in the medical sector. So I would really, Right Honorable, advise that, suggest that since there's no uniformity, we have seen 65%, 80%, 100%, 131%, and many other percentages that these salaries have been enhanced. Right Honorable, recently we talked about Salary Review Commission. I don't know how far it has gone to form the Salary Review Commission in this country. It's not only health workers crying, other people are also crying. I wish a certain percentage is picked and put, say, 100% salary enhancement across the board. That would really help in curbing down this confusion that every sector is now coming with petitions. We are not only discussing this petition, Right Honorable, we are expecting many more petitions to come from the health sector alone. What about in education sector? What about other sectors? There are so many that will come to Parliament. So we want a once and for all, solution to this problem. Because if we don't do this, then we shall be continuously discussing this. Right Honorable, yes, I think I already mentioned these bodies.
Thank you, Honorable. I can see you're starting now to repeat yourself.
No, there are people who really came to me in Kuala.
Honorable Babiku.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity given to me. Right Honorable Speaker, I have one observation on recurrence of strikes in this country. I strongly believe strikes are as a result of unattended grievances. And each time strikes happen, my government comes to take actions. And to me, this is giving a bad reputation to my government. I am proposing that my government, which is our government, should be proactive, because these strikes have got negative impacts on our people. Some people lose lives and their health deteriorate as a result of these strikes. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I know it's a right issue to be paid well. But I also know there are different factors that motivate a person to concentrate. My proposal is, let us do analysis and give a very good environment for our people to operate. But beyond that, we need to also analyze the correlation of increment in salaries and performances that we receive. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the situation, for example, at health center 2s are wanting. Have ever visited my health center 2s? You go at midday, you don't find people serving the patients. You go to health center 3s, the attendance is poor. That's why we have high referral cases to our district referral medical units. Therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, as we support these people who are helping us, they should also offer the services that we need. And I agree with Honorable Judith that every profession matters. If we concentrate only on the health workers, what about the teachers who taught the health workers? What about the engineers? Can we come out as government to streamline and we encourage people to perform based on their skills and experiences? Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to agree with my colleagues and really stress that the issue of salary enhancement should not be left to different chairpersons of committees to come and present on behalf of their committees. Rather, we should go for the salary enhancement across the board, because indeed, I am also on the way. Right Honorable Speaker, I've already been preparing a motion, and since our brother here, the Minister for Local Government, is here, there are LOC 1s who are receiving 10,000, LOC 2s 20,000, LOC 3s, LOC 5s. All these, they need their emoluments looked into. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I think it is time the Salary Review and Enhancement Committee to be empowered to work across the board, so that all the workers of government are duly considered. I beg to move.
Chair, then Ariko. And then,
thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
And
I want to thank the committee and also colleagues who have given very rich suggestions already. Just adding on what my colleagues have already raised, as we move, I think I would urge the committee, the chair and the team, as we move towards looking at the salary enhancements, I think it will be good for us to understand the parameters that we'll be using. Looking at this report from the committee, number 5, if you look at the qualifications, for example, if we are relying on qualifications, how comes we have a huge disparity? I want to pick on, for example, the qualification for commissioner nursing. We have bachelor's degree in nursing, master's in nursing, midwifery or public health, or postgraduate diploma in public administration, which is the same as the qualification for assistant commissioner nursing. Entirely the same. But when you look at the salary discrepancies, it would really feel so bad for someone out there. You look at some, it's doubling from 7.3 million to 12 million. And then the assistant with the same qualification is from 4.6 to 6.5, which is half. I think moving forward, as we look at reviewing, let us be very clear with the parameters so that our people out there will not feel like others are being favored while others are not being considered. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Wariko.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would like to thank the chair and the committee for the report. Mr. Speaker, I know that you've been guiding the House to focus our debate on the prayers that are enshrined in the petition. Mr. Speaker, I would like to raise one issue that the Honorable Judith Aliek has mentioned here, which is very critical. That in the 10th Parliament, severally, did this House raise the matter of the Salaries Harmonization Commission that the then Right Honorable Prime Minister promised us was underway. Mr. Speaker, the petition by medical interns as well as the nursing officers is just a tip of the iceberg. There is a fundamental problem in the entire salary structure of the country. Mr. Speaker, you will find that within the medical fraternity, you will have people that are classified as nurses and doctors earning a significantly different part of the salary. Recently, we also had people that are medical professionals, like those working in the blood transfusion services, like those working under entomology, and others coming in and saying that whereas they had been given higher salaries for one financial year, with effect from July this year, their salaries were reduced. So we would like to see that we take into the matter of having salaries in the country reviewed in their entirety so that we can address these discrepancies. Mr. Speaker, the fundamental issue will be addressed once we have harmonized salaries for all professionals in the country. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Gafabusa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the committee for the report. However, Mr. Speaker, I find the report inadequate in addressing the key issue in the petition. Mr. Speaker, the petitioners are aggrieved by the continued non-implementation of the terms and conditions in the 2018 collective bargaining agreement with the government. When the committee says the issue of salary discrepancy is addressed by the circular from the Ministry of Public Service and the budget for this financial year, I wonder whether the committee looked at those terms and conditions in the collective bargaining agreement of 2018. Does this budget that is they are referring to address the salary discrepancies address those concerns of the medical workers in that agreement of 2018? That is number one. I am happy the committee also in their conclusion indicate that even when some of this money is budgeted for, it is not released by Ministry of Finance. So we have a wage bill in the budget completely different from what is being released to the MDAs. So what is happening, Mr. Speaker and members, is that some local governments have decided to continue paying these workers according to the old wage bill because that is what is being released to them. Then others who are paying the new salary scales
are being affected because when they receive the release for a quarter, all the money is spent in the first month of the quarter. And the next 2 months, they have nothing to pay the workers. So that means there is still a problem. So I find the committee probably only listened to the submission of the ministry, but did not go into details of what is included in the collective bargaining agreement of 2018 that the petitioners are referring to. So, Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I think there is still much more that the committee need to dig and find out if all these issues are resolved. I thank you.
Honorable Saropendi.
Thank you very much.
Colleagues, we are debating, okay? So when we are debating issues of procedure and all that, that's...
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I thank the committee for its presenting its report despite some gaps in the report. And Right Honourable Speaker, what I want to inform this House is that when I was in the health sector, at the Council of Ministers meeting at the East African Community, as chair then, we received a report where there was a decision to scrap off certificate nurses. And I think even diplomas. And this led most of the nurses then to go and enroll for degree courses. And most of the nurses currently as we speak, there are a good number that hold degrees and yet there are no positions for these degree holders at the health facilities at district level or even at the national level. So they are there working with their degrees, but there are no positions for them. So this calls for definitely disgruntlement. But we should also know, Right Honourable Speaker, that it is long since government restructured most of these health facilities, the health center 2s, health center 3s, the regional referral hospitals, the general hospitals. And before I left the health sector, one of the things that we had tasked the Ministry of Public Service was to actually undertake a restructuring exercise, because we cannot keep on with the structure of the past. There is a need to have a new structure in place to also accommodate the populations that we have currently. And therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, I hope that this can be fast-tracked so that we can create space. You can't have one person handling, you know, a general hospital or senior nursing officer handling a regional referral hospital. It's just one person. So there is need for restructuring so that we can see how to absorb that excess workforce. But also, Right Honourable Speaker, other than that, Right Honourable Speaker, we should also note that one thing that the committee did not bring out was what my former colleague talked about, the collective bargaining agreement. What was contained therein was not brought out. But we should also, as I conclude, Right Honourable.
No, Honourable colleague. Lope.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. The obtaining debate actually in a way impeached my intended submission, and I dropped it and I decided to submit generally. The Honourable Gaffa Sir Richard in part represented my disappointment. Government last restructured public service at the consideration of a series of retrenchments, I think probably 20 plus years ago. And since then, you can best describe public service and its attendant matters as organized chaos. And I did not fathom and admire my honorable sister, the Prime Minister, how she presided over organized chaos. Take an example. The government issued a decree to the effect that all primary teachers must be degree holders. But those who entered as grade 3 more than 10 years ago are still being paid as grade 3. So who originates those pronouncements that are not considered properly? Oh, I know the Honorable Chelo considered this as organized chaos. I agree, and that's why I'm submitting so. Right, Honorable Speaker, probably this petition is an invitation to government, and I would like to invite the chairperson, with due respect, to probably reconsider when you meet the ministers considering policy documents, whether they are actually aware of how chaotic the entire public service is structured currently. So you have medical workers' pay enhanced. And like the Honorable Governor submitted, on paper, in the local governments, they had an enhancement. The release to the local governments is actually the old release. Is there another definition of organized chaos than that? Yeah, even if it is finance, finance is part of the system. The system must speak, must communicate top, bottom up. Right Honorable Prime Minister, in my government, as the Prime Minister, that can't happen. There's no way I can preside over organized chaos. Right Honorable Speaker, I think in conclusion, the Prime Minister and her team must pick this up. There's a very big problem. Somebody is running away from responsibility by making pronouncements that cannot be followed up by actual implementation. It should be picked up, and probably as we discuss the next financial year, we should have an indication of what actually is going on. Lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, I hope in the follow-up to action taken, government will be able to report on a very serious matter to which you gave a directive of unpaid pensioners. And every time it comes up, it is dodged or a partial report is given. I hope we still have time, as we instructed, for every sector to report and even submit. It's not very difficult. It's unpaid pensioners. Since you made that directive, I've received more than 10 former pensioners of different agencies, over 10 plus years not paid. Who is presiding over that chaos? Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Today I had thought that the agreement we had earlier at Honorable Mpuga and Honorable Nabanja will settle their scores on the dance floor. Would wait for that, but it seems it is heating up. Yeah, but this is easy. I think it was very direct. These are issues we should be able to answer as leaders. Honorable Chair?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I listened to the debate, I realized that members were trying to look at general issues relating to salary enhancement as opposed to the specific prayers which are contained in the prayers of the nurses and the nursing interns, which was led by Honorable Moli Ondoru. That was May. Then too, when we were looking at this petition, whether
colleagues, can we please, colleagues, this is not a place for conversing. If you want to converse, go to the canteen. We are here to do serious business. If you know you have KB which you've not completed, just go in the lobby, go to the canteen. Don't come to disturb us here. And next time I will mention names, because it has continued to happen when we are here.
Right, Honourable Speaker, Honourable Gabafuza Richard raised an issue whether the committee looked into the bargaining agreement document, which was between the medical union and the government. Indeed, we looked into it. And that's why when you look at this report and you read it from the beginning to the end, and that was also one of the things I realized. Many of the people who were debating as if they didn't read the report. When you look at the percentage increments we have presented here, which I had earlier on said members can read on their own. When this bargaining agreement was brought to our committee, I remember Honorable Gabafuza was also a member. We had these copies, and there were percentages that were supposed to be increased, indicating for each of these public service unions. Now, when you look at some of these percentages, for example, when you look at, let's say, nursing officer, the percentage increment there is even beyond in the bargaining agreement, because here it is 117.4% increment of salary increment. Two.
Wait, Honorable, just wait. Honorable Kurigi, if you know you're not properly dressed, kindly get out of this house. I don't need to mention your name. If you know you're putting on a suit and you don't have a tie, please, kindly help us. And so let's go on. Let's go on.
So, Right Honourable Speaker, the basis of this analysis of salary increment was the bargaining agreement and what percentage was indicated by government in that document. So we looked at this. And one thing is,
the chief whip usually has spare ties, so you can borrow one. And even Honorable Pendi, we are still having the GBV campaign. So you can restrict Honorable member.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying that our argument here was based on the salary enhancement bargaining agreement. And that's where we obtained this. And when we interfaced with the ministry, they also presented this document in line with that. That's one. Then two, when we looked at the salary increment, there are two issues. One is increment in terms of figures on paper. And the other issue is increment in terms of implementation, whether these people are actually earning what is on paper. When you see those problems coming, the argument is that much as these people are supposed to get these amounts which are increased on paper, the releases by ministry, by government, do not match the salary increments. That's where the challenge is. Then two, when you look at the issue which was raised by Honorable...
So Honorable Chair, you only looked at what government has given you. You didn't look at what these people are earning. Because the issue is earning.
Honorable Speaker,
not what is just written.
Can I answer that? That's what I was coming to.
Yeah.
When you look at this petition was brought in May. And the government started implementing this financial year in July. So there was no way we would say that they are earning when the financial year was still ahead of us. So I think that's where the challenge was.
Now next time let me guide you, okay?
Yes.
Always, if you don't get space on the order paper and the issue has been overtaken by events, you approach the presiding officer, we allow you to update your report as a committee. Then, so that we can have a clear flow. But otherwise, it's not your problem.
Yes.
But next time, do it that way.
Yeah, I think that's the issue. Then two, there was issue raised by doctor interns, by members also. This was not part of the petition. Because like when the doctor interns striked, this strike did not inform items on the what? On the petition. So there was no way we would go outside the prayers of the petition and also capture those. Because I had many members emphasizing those. So that was not also an issue of the prayers. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I think those are some of the few issues which were raised by members. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity, and there's one clarification, Right Honourable Speaker, I wanted to make. On Thursday, this report was called to be presented, and by then, I just walked out to go and pick a notebook. It was supposed to be the fourth item. There were 8 substantive issues that were still to follow. I left Honorable Macho when he was raising issues of national importance. When I walked out to pick a notebook, the order paper was amended behind me to call the report. So when I came when I came in the house, the speaker had ruled that we were not in the house, and the rest we need to explain. But that day I was in the house. I only walked out to go and pick a notebook. But by the time I came back, it was called when they had made amendments. So she demanded that we should explain ourselves. That time I tried to seek opportunity.
You will explain on Tuesday. We shall give
Thank you.
Time to explain on Tuesday. Now, so Honourable Minister, the question is, however much the committee is in agreement with what you submitted at that time, you have not implemented what you told the committee you were going to do. It's on paper, but it's not being felt in the pocket. And the people count what is on the account, not what is just on paper as a promise. Number 2, Honourable Minister, I had raised to you an issue which I expect you also to touch, the issue of police officers. And this brings me to how government works. You know, it's really disappointing sometimes. You have been paying Rigo police officers from 2010, the same equivalent salary to that of DPP officers from 2010. In 2010, you even processed a supplementary to address that concern. Now, out of nowhere in October 2022, Minister of Public Service, after paying a salary for over 12 years, you write to police that you have been overpaying. Now, you have police officers you recruited on contracts, okay, within that same period, on contracts with a very clear pay. And the law is very clear. You cannot review someone's salary to their detriment. You can only increase, you cannot go down. So, Honourable Minister, I raised it, and I hope it's one of the issues you are going to talk about, the 171 police officers, and above all, their salaries provided for in the budget. We budgeted for it. So this is a budget neutral item. It's not an item where you say we are going to look for supplementary or what. So we need public service to lift that ban, so that police officers from October up to now be reinstated on the salary structure which they've been on since 2010. Honourable Minister?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. First of all, I also want to thank the committee for their submissions and the honourable members for the additional information that you have given to us. Honourable Speaker, I have noted with concern the issue you have raised about the salaries of our police officers, and they have also tabled their petition and appeal to Minister of Public Service. I want to promise that we are going to give a clear report next week if Parliament is still in session.
Honourable Minister, this is not a matter where we need a report. Okay?
You need a report.
Listen to me, Honourable Minister, please. The permanent, kindly take your seat. Prime Minister, you have been paying these police officers. They had taken you to court after you had, government had not considered them for review. In 2010, after the President came to know about this issue, issued a directive. Based on the President's directive in 2010, the Minister of Public Service and Second Deputy Prime Minister, Kajura, wrote to the Minister of Public Service. Okay? A supplementary budget of 17 billion was brought to this house. It was processed. Since 2010, you even recruited new people on career terms as equivalent of DPP officers. These officers have been paid their salary since 2010. After 12 years, Minister of Public Service writes to say you're overpaying people. You know, I have letters here from the Permanent Secretary, from the IGP, and you see, most of these are my classmates in law school. So I know them. They have brought me their issues. It is illegal. So from 22nd October, since when they wrote, I don't know how public service really works on such a matter. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, I request you, even the IGP has written a protest letter. I request you take up this matter. It's not a matter for reporting here. It is to go and you reinstate people on their rightful salaries. Very simple.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I have taken note of your concern. I request you to give me copies of those letters so that we can take action.
Thank you. I will follow up with you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. No, there is Prime Minister's time, please. There is Prime Minister's time. Clarification comes when a member is still on the floor. When a member is off floor, rules don't allow clarification. Honorable Minister, please continue with the one of nurses. And in turn, continue with the one of nurses.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable, we are going to take up this issue as directed by the Prime Minister of the salaries as alluded by the Right Honorable Speaker. About the nurses, the members have talked about disparities, but about disparities in the nursing cadre, it depends on the job description, the qualifications attained, and they use the compression ratio according to our technical people. So that's why you see that some nurses are getting 7, some nurses are getting 12. It depends on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, we need to understand the issue of how the salaries are arrived at, and some people are still complaining that they have received on paper the salary enhancement, but they have not received it in the pocket. I think this answer should be answered. It should be given by Ministry of Finance, because Ministry of Public Service does the structures, and we also make submissions on who is supposed to be paid and how much, according to the directives. But then if we don't get remittances from Ministry of Finance, we really cannot implement. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg for your indulgence that probably the Ministry of Finance gives us an update on that as well.
Honorable Minister of Finance, you can sort that quickly. Where is the money for for the nurses and interns?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in financial year 2022-2023, which opened on 1st of July, we enhanced all salaries for scientists across board, including the nurses. They are also in that category. Right Honorable Speaker, it is good the Chair has pointed out that this investigation was done in May. In May, we had not increased the salary for scientists. But I wish to inform this House that our current record shows that in all areas where we enhanced, these people have received their changed salary. I beg to submit.
Minister, for us, you can confirm for us that your nurses received their money? Because the minister responsible for the sector is here.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I think there has also been a system problem because some of them have received the enhanced salary, but others have not. Because you know the others were not captured by the Ministry of Finance, but they have also been updated now, and everybody will get their salary enhanced.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, you see, when I open up this issue now, all we shall do is to blame. We blame this one, we blame this one, we blame. So, Right Honorable Prime Minister, kind of take up this matter, because you can see, whenever you're on this floor, and you see one minister inviting the other, you know there is a problem somewhere. And now it goes back to you. I would...
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. What I wish to add is that whatever is not going well can be resolved administratively. It's no longer a budget issue. It can be resolved administratively among the MDAs which are implementing this reform.
Thank you. Now, colleagues, look, and I tend to agree with the minister on this. Salary is a statutory obligation. Okay? So the moment we appropriate for it here, that is given. So if there are any issues, they should be administrative. And that's why now I've referred the matter to the Prime Minister. Right Honorable Prime Minister, kindly, please, the Speaker is speaking. You must hear me in silence. So, Right Honorable Prime Minister, kindly take up this matter, and on Thursday during Prime Minister's time, update the House how you've sorted it out. So, colleagues, I want to put the question. I want to put the question that the House adopts the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the petition on salary enhancement discrepancies for nurses and interns. Those in favor say aye, and to the contrary nay. No. The ayes have it. Colleagues, I have yes, I have a lot of matters of national importance. You know, today I said I want to sort your issues, then I go to the next items. So I'll do quickly, we fall into Prime Minister's time, and then we see how to move forward. I'll start with Honorable Kwizera Wagahungu.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Colleagues, we have Chisoro Airport, which had been supporting the internal flights. It is of 3,000 meters, but tarmac is 1.2 miles. Right Honorable Speaker, the airfield is in a solid state. Now it is a danger to our airport because the flights cannot go in and out because the tarmac on the runway is now worn out and there are more flying stones and potholes on that airfield. My prayers are that government should urgently take up the matter to rehabilitate that airport, Chisoro Airport, promote internal tourism and regional integration. And secondly, they should expand it to 3,000 meters. I thank you.
Honorable Minister for Works. Honorable Chweru was here. Right Honorable Prime Minister. The colleague wants you to talk about the upgrade of Kisoro airfield, which is in a very poor state, and it's attracting very many tourists. It has potholes. I've landed on that airfield. When you're on the runway, that's the time you know that 30 seconds is a very long time. 30 seconds is a very long time. And you know that area attracts very many tourists because of the mountain gorillas and all that. So the member needs your intervention. When is this going to be done? Because they had promised that it was going to be done.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. During the time when we went to Kisoro to campaign for the same member of parliament, I landed, yes, on the same airport. And I saw the state in which it is. I also know the state in which it is. Today, the Ministry of Works is doing a review, and I saw Kisoro Airport and these other airports, Kasese and the Lake, on the program, and I think it's work in progress.
So for the record, airfields. Yes, airfields, okay. Wow. This is the matter we should follow up on. Remember, I encourage you to keep following up on this matter. We shall always give you space in case you're not satisfied. Honorable Abed Bwanika, Doctor.
Right Honorable Speaker, Masaka City, Masaka District and the surrounding districts were serviced by two very important roads for farmers, Kyabakuza, Kiwangala Ndagwe, and also Kyabakuza, Matete. These two roads are in very, very bad state. We have approached UNLA in Masaka to ask them for assistance. They have said they don't have equipments. All equipments in our area, they are down, and they are supposed to be serviced in Imbalala. Right Honorable Speaker, my prayers that the government should swing into action and help us renovate, rehabilitate these roads. They are very, very key for our farmers to reach the market. I so submit.
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I have taken note of the members concerned. We had a meeting with UNRWA and the Minister of Works and Finance when the engineer in charge of maintenance of this equipment was complaining of lack of money. And this financial year, money has been given to the Works Department in charge of maintaining our equipment. And I believe all the equipments will be maintained across the country, including those of Masaka. And therefore I believe, and we have given them money to maintain roads. That money was put in the newspapers of 17th of October. I request members to also help us monitor across board so that this money is put to good use, including districts. All districts across the country have been paid and given money worth 50% of the annual budget. And we are also going to give them more money up to Front Road, more money in January. And I believe this will help us to have better roads next financial year.
Thank you. Colleagues, let's go to the next item. Then the other questions are going to come or under Prime Minister's time. Today is the next session. The Prime Minister is not leaving here before finishing all your questions. We are about going to recess. We need to go with answers. We are lucky we have her here. So I ask the Chief Whip to call ministers to be here because I want today to handle members' issues. Okay? Next item.
Item 5, statement on government business for the succeeding week 13th to 15th December 2022.
Procedure first.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have two sides in the August houses according to the Commonwealth system. And Mr. Speaker, sir, when I look at the front bench of opposition, I see there are almost only 5 shadow ministers and the rest are other members of opposition. I don't know whether we are proceeding well, Mr. Speaker, to have such a small number of shadow ministers in the August House.
Colleagues. Yes, colleagues. If you know that you're a shadow minister and you're seated behind, please find space in front. You know, I raised that issue much earlier on. I said shadow ministers, and if you know you're not a shadow minister, please leave the front bench. Honorable, I don't need to mention names. The front bench is for the cabinet, government cabinet, and shadow cabinet. Right, Honorable Prime Minister?
Right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues.
No, the item the Prime Minister is reading, no need for procedure. Continue, Right, Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much for that protection. Under Rule 28 of our Rules of Procedure, that requires me as lead of government business to make a statement in the House regarding business for the succeeding week. I therefore submit the following business for the week of 13th to 15th December 2022. Number 1, the law revision, that is miscellaneous amendment bill 2022. Number 2, the budget framework paper for the financial year 2023-2024. Number 3, the animal feeds bill 2021. Number 4, the statement by the Minister for Kampala, Capital City and Metropolitan Area. Number 5, affairs on the management of markets in the Kampala City. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I beg to submit.
Thank you. I think Right Honorable Prime Minister, it's an anomaly. There are 4 items. Number 5 is part of number 4. The one you listed as number 5. Statement by the Minister for Kampala, Capital City and Metropolitan Affairs. Yeah, so you've presented 4 items for the record. Thank you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. And we need the budget framework paper indeed by 15th of this month.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. You gave us adequate notice, and we are working around the clock to lay the budget framework paper on Thursday next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister for Finance. Next item.
Item 6.
Honorable Yonam Singh, you had a procedure matter. What was that?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My procedure matter is on the order paper of today. Mr. Speaker, on the order paper of today, we have gone to number 5, left number 4. And this number 4 is about REA. Me, the person who comes from Ntungamo municipality, as we talk today, 90% of the people of Ntungamo are in darkness, no electricity. So, I beg that through your office, good chair, you allow the move of our motion number 4 to move this motion because it is hurting all Ugandans. Thank you.
Honorable Yona, Rule 41 of our Rules of Procedure, 4 p.m. Prime Minister's time. Right, Honorable Prime Minister?
We can step aside some of these.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Honorable Musa Noah, Member of Parliament, Koboko North, Koboko District, asked a question, a written question, that the Ministry of Education and Sports in conjunction with National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, are carrying out the registration of primary and secondary school children. This registration is taking place countrywide. However, when he goes to his district, the parents are supposed to transport their children to NIRA offices at the district headquarters. The parents, according to him, are very poor and they do not have money to transport their children. However, in other districts, the children are registered at school. His prayer is that whether this is the proper procedure, that the people are following to register the children in Koboko. My response is that the purpose of this exercise is to ensure that all learners have the national identification number. Efforts have been made to enable learners register while at school. In the case of learners that have not been registered, parents have been advised to approach the nearest NIRA office and have them registered. The NIRA offices are usually at the district. Number 2, the Honorable Achayo Julie, Member of Parliament, Ngora constituency. That the government emphasizes the provision of vocational skills to the youth as a means of fighting unemployment. To that effect, it has a policy of establishing a technical school in each constituency. Ngora constituency and indeed Ngora district has no government technical school. Being an area which suffered years of insurgency, some generations of young men and women missed out on formal education. And this makes the need for a technical school in Ngora even greater. The prayer from the member is, what plan does government have for a technical school in Ngora constituency, Ngora district? My response, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we have, Right Honorable Speaker, we share the concern raised by the Honorable Member for Ngora constituency on the need for a technical institute in Ngora. However, among the challenges we have with many of our existing government technical institutes is lack of adequate equipment and staff. Because of these shortcomings, government is prioritizing the upgrade of these institutions to secure their intended purpose. The request for the institute in Ngora will be kept in view in the medium, and implementation will be considered when there is availability of funds.
Right
Number 3.
Right Honourable Prime Minister, have received information from the Honourable Noah Wanzara Mutebi, Nakasongora constituency, that is the one who raised the question for Minister of Education and the NIRA registration. So for record purposes, it was not Noah Musa, but Noah Mutebi, Nakasongora. Yeah. So
I think now I will repeat the same answer. I will give the same. I will give another answer
for the record.
No,
for the record.
The answer for Nakasongola may be different, and therefore I take responsibility that I will come next week and deliver, because these are two districts with different geographical issues. Honorable Achayo Julie, Member of Parliament in Ngora constituency again, that the Chief Administrative Officer COW is the head of public service in the district, the head of administration of council, and the accounting officer of the district. He is therefore a very important person. The last 3 consecutive COWs who have been transferred to Ngora were all officers who were about to retire. According to her, the current Chief Administrative Officer, who is now the 4th in a law, is also pending retirement. Whereas they may have the experience, the danger is that they characteristically fear to take certain critical decisions. They are not innovative, according to her, and prefer to play it safe as they wait for their retirement, thus making the district lag behind. Her prayer is that why has the center, that is Ministry of Local Government, consistently deployed cows in Ngora who are due for retirement. The Honorable Speaker, my response is that the Chief Administrative Officers and their deputies, city and municipal council clerks, are employees of central government and are appointed by the Public Service Commission in accordance with Article 188 and 200 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, as amended. The Chief Administrative Officers, Deputy Chief Administrative Officers, the city and municipal council clerks, town clerks, are therefore deployed by the Ministry of Local Government, that is also responsible for monitoring their performance. The history of the last 5 consecutive deployed cows in Ngora district is as follows. I thought it's necessary that we give you the history. Lawrence Wadada was 57 years at deployment at Ngora in 2020, and thus his home district is Sironko and is still in service in Ngora. Andrew Maweje was 52 years when he was deployed at Ngora in 2018, and his home district is Chivale. He is in service at Kakumiro district and is doing a very good job. And for us in Kakumiro, we are very proud of him. Mr. Bruno Mwaita was 58 years in 2017 when he was deployed at Ngora, and his home district is Budaka. He has retired. Mr. Alex Kwezera, 49, in 2014, when he was deployed at Ngora, and his home district is Kisoro. He retired in 2018. Mr. Davis Dembe Deyeza was 50 years in 2011 when he was deployed at Ngora, and his home district is Kanungu. He retired from Shema. That Honorable Speaker, retirement age in public service, except for justices of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, is 60. It is evident that it is not true that the Chief Administrative Officers deployed in Ngora local government are those nearing retirement. It is also not true that the public officers who are nearing retirement pose a danger to the service because of fear to take certain critical decisions and are not innovative. Mr. Davis Dembe Beyeza, who worked in Ngora District Local Government as the first Chief Administrative Officer, retired from Shema. His exemplary leadership and innovations have earned him a mentor role and was made a member of the faculty of trainers at the Civil Service College, Uganda. Number 4. Honorable Achayo Julie Steele says that while she supports the restoration of wetlands because of the critical role they play in the water cycle and maintenance of a healthy environment, the exercise of demarcating wetlands in Ngora, especially in the villages of Omaditok and Operu, was hurriedly and haphazardly done because, 1, there was inadequate sensitization of project affected persons. Then 2, there are complaints of inclusion of chunks of arable land into areas demarcated as wetlands. Our prayer is that the Right Honorable Prime Minister, she requests that the demarcation exercise be reviewed in Omaditok and Operu. Honorable Speaker, my response is that one of the key result areas for the Wetland Management Department under the Ministry of Water and Environment is restoration of fragile ecosystems and demarcation of wetland boundaries as a way of protecting their hydrology so that they continue providing ecosystem services. The Agu wetland system is located in the 4 parishes of Agu, Kopege, Odwarat, and Ongodi, and the 9 villages of Agu, Operu, Orit, Omaditok, Okoboy, Galilaya, Angodi, Odwarat, and Ogirigiro. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Agu wetlands system is among the priority wetlands system in the country because of its importance as a catchment for the Nile Basin and water source for both domestic and production purposes. These services deem it necessary for demarcation and other wetland management interventions to be taken. Honorable Speaker, the demarcation line was informed by the 1994 wetland data and the pillars were planted. The exercise was proceeded by consultations and sensitization of stakeholders at the district, sub-county, and community levels. During the first phase, some of the wetland-dependent communities received alternative livelihoods, including goats, pigs, chicken, and beehives as a way of providing alternatives to the activities foregone in the wetlands. The next phase will include distribution of additional livelihood and further sensitization on the various interventions, and will address any grievances arising out of the exercise. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Katusabe Atkins, Member of Parliament Bukonzo West, says that there is a rising concern on the mounting roadblocks in the Rwenzori region contrary to the presidential directive waiving all roadblocks in the country. His prayer is that can he be informed as to why the presidential directive has not been implemented. My response, Right Honorable Speaker and all of you colleagues, that the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety has indicated that there is no police roadblocks in the Rwenzori area. However, there is a roadblock set up by the Fisheries Department at Chikorongo, manned by the Fisheries Protection Unit personnel, that is PPU. Number 6, the Honorable Isabile Idi, Member of Parliament, Bunya South. This must be Mayuge district. That there is information about titling of parcels of land in South Busoga Central Forest Reserve by unscrupulous individuals at the expense of the local, in whose favor a presidential directive was issued. His prayer that could I please inform the House on the status of South Busoga Central Forest Reserve. Right Honorable Speaker, the Central Forest Reserve affected by the presidential directive are Bukaleba and South Busoga Central Reserve, which was gazetted in 1932, with an area of 9,663 hectares and 16,382 hectares respectively, and are located in the current Mayuge district, like I've told you earlier. On the 29th day of April 2002, Mwada Idi, for and on behalf of the residents of Malongo, Bumwema, and the Kitierera sub-counties, Mayuge district, jointly sued National Forest Authority and the Attorney General in High Court of Uganda in Jinja, vide civil suit number 046 of 2002. The residents claimed that they were the original inhabitants of the 63 villages of Chaterera and Malongo sub-counties, which now are part and parcel of the gazetted South Busoga Central Forest Reserve, and returned to settle back on the land. Honorable Speaker, following the claimants' entry into the forest reserve and heavily cultivating the forest, National Forest Authority embarked on massive sensitization and evicting them from the reserve to bring it under planned management and protection. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, General, directed and guided as follows. That the local community take land composed of 48 villages. And 2, or B, that National Forest Authority takes land planted with trees under 18 villages, including land for forest coverage under the forest cover. Number 2, Bukaleba Central Forest Reserve. 500 hectares.
Right Honorable is incomplete. I'm reading from what you submitted here.
Yes.
There is one in small letters.
I didn't read that one. I thought members have
no,
because it is even okay. 200 meters be demarcated off for the conservation of the lake shores. All settlers within the 200, you know, we have that law of 200 meters, should relocate to land covering 4 villages under NFA, thus leaving NFA with land composed of only 14 villages. Bukaleba Central Forest Reserve. 500 hectares be given to the local community, which land had already been demarcated and occupied by the local community. Right Honorable Speaker, implementation of the presidential directive commenced in accordance with the guidance of the Office of the Prime Minister in June 2017 in conjunction with the National Forest Authority, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, and the Office of the Attorney General. The survey and demarcation of the villages to be given to the community and those to be retained by NFA has been done by the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. What now remains is NFA placing concrete boundary markers to demarcate the 14 villages to be retained under the South Busoga Central Forest Reserve. Honorable Speaker, National Environment Management Authority NEMA is also undertook a demarcation of the 200 meters lake shore line to be maintained at the conservation belt out the claimants have not vacated as they wait to be settled in the area of the forest reserve earmarked for them in the line with the presidential directive. The individuals who are creating titles in South Busoga Central Reserve before it is allegedly gazetted are doing so illegally, and the National Forest Authority should work with the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to halt, I repeat, to halt the illegal titling and cause cancellation of those titles if there is any. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kangwaje Stephen Rwakanuma, Member of Parliament Bukanga, that His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda promised the people of Isinjiro to upgrade the Isinjiro Rugaga Ntantamuchi Rakai Road, which has become totally unmotorable and impassable. This is a strategic and important road corridor between Isinjiro and Rakai district, connecting western region and central region in Uganda. That the road is also a link with Tanzania and is used by many vehicles and trucks carrying produce and goods between Uganda and Tanzania. Besides, as a refugee hosting area, the road is vital for connectivity. The World Bank and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees expressed interest in supporting government on the construction of this road. On 20th April this year, the Executive Director, Uganda Roads Authority, UNRA, visited the area with her technical team and pledged to provide Uganda shillings 6 billion, which is required for feasibility studies and design on the road, which to date has not been done. His prayers: when is UNRA, Minister of Works and Transport, when will UNRA, Minister of Works and Transport, prioritize the upgrade of the Isinjiro Rugaga Ntantamuchi Rakai Road as pledged by the Fountain of Honor and the President of this country, which has taken over 30 years to effect the pledge? When will the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development assure the people of Isinjiro and Rakai districts as to when he will release the funds for visibility study of the road project to implement this long-standing presidential pledge to the people of Isinjiro and the country at large? The World Bank and United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees Office supported the road project and provided Uganda shillings 6 billion. When is the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development releasing these funds to have this road upgraded and tarmacked? What can we tell the people of Isingiro who support this government with over 90% votes, whose livelihood is dependent on this road, who use this road to ferry farmers' produce to various parts of the country and neighboring countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan, and traders who are stuck over the status of this road? Right Honorable Speaker, my response is that the road in question is part of the national road network and is managed by the Ministry of Works and Transport through UNRA. The government of Uganda plans to upgrade Isingiro, Rugaga, Ntantamuchi, Rakai to paved standards in order to promote inter- and intra-regional trade and reduce poverty as outlined in the National Development Plan 3 under the Integrated Transport Infrastructure and Services Program. Honorable Speaker, indeed, the road was prioritized and funds appropriated in the budget for the visibility studies and the detailed engineering designs for the upgrading of the Isingiro, Rugaga, and Tantamuki, Rakai, and the Chikagati, Kafunzo roads this financial year. The road also promotes international trade, and the stakeholders of Central Corridor Transport Facilitation Agency at the 14th stakeholders consultative meeting recommended that the Central Corridor Transport Facilitation Agency works with Uganda to mobilize resources to undertake the feasibility study. Detailed engineering designs and upgrading of this road to paved standards. The proposed project will include upgrading of the Lakai Nakabanga Kityanza Isingiro 103.6 kilometers and Chikagati Kafunzo 30.1 kilometers roads to class 2 paved standard. The works will include installation of drainage infrastructure and road furniture. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the feasibility studies and detailed engineering designs for the upgrading of Isingiro, Rugaga, Ntantamuchi, Lakai, and Chikagati Kafunzo roads is expected to commence this financial year. The procurement process for a consultant is nearing completion. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I would like to assure you that the NRM government is committed to ensuring that the upgrading of the Isingiro Ntantamuchi Rakai is implemented as part of improving the country's stock of the strategic transport infrastructure. Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, thank you so much. I beg to move.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Now time for oral questions. But I will give, Lop, you're supposed to comment on all, both oral and written. Yeah. So, colleagues, I will start with colleagues who booked their matters of national importance, and I promise them that I will use Prime Minister's time to address them. Not on this, please. Yeah. Please, please. Colleagues, sometimes, please. Yes, I'll go to Honorable Amaka Catherine, followed by Honorable Mudimi.
Right Honorable Speaker.
And it's 1 minute on this time. It's quick. Yeah.
Right Honourable Speaker, on the program of Government of Uganda in phasing out the all lower secondary curriculum after introducing the new lower curriculum, Right Honourable Speaker, 2023 is supposed to mark the end of the all lower secondary curriculum. What is happening with schools now as they close for third term? There are students of senior 3s who have not been promoted to senior 4, and parents are stranded with them as they may not be able to repeat because they will fall in the new curriculum. Right Honourable Speaker, it is very crucial for the Ministry of Education to come with a clear position as far as the phase out of the old curriculum is concerned, and the current senior 3s who are not being promoted to senior 4, what is their fate, Right Honourable Speaker?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this is a very important matter, and I believe everybody here is concerned. We are going to have a comprehensive statement in this House from the Ministry of Education. I request the member to link up with me so that we can take this further.
Thank you. Technical staff of the PM and lead of government business, follow up. I don't want someone to say member didn't follow up. You've made a commitment, your staff should take it up. Honourable Mdimi.
Right Honourable Speaker, I heard the Prime Minister in her response that the President gave a directive that they should utilize part of South Soga Forest Reserve, which they gave to the community. But the law says any change of use of land, of forest, has to be degazetted. I don't remember I've been around for some time, because the government brought that instrument to disgazette that area. And on top of that, there are districts and the cities which submitted areas to digazette, Mbare, Mbarara, many. West Nile and Pakwach, Kalangala. But up to now, and they have alternative land which they vote to compensate. So I want the Prime Minister to tell us the progress so far.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, this was done in 2002. And we as cabinet or government have come up with a strategy. We need forests. We need to protect our ecosystems. And we agreed that no more degazettement of forests. That was done way back. But as of now, we agreed in cabinet as government that we have to protect all the forests that are there now. And we also need to plant more so that we can now negate through the changing climate issues that you see happening in the country.
Thank you. But right on, Prime Minister, there is a contradiction. For example, the case of Guru University. Guru University, you got an African Development Bank funded project, you built it in a forest reserve. You told Guru University, get 500 acres of land, plant, they followed each and everything. They planted the 500 acres of land. Up to now, in Nwoya, up to now, you have never. And it's a recent project after 2020, after 2002. In Tungamo municipality, they are in court, you know, because the minister allowed that they get part of the park, which was in a forest reserve, and in exchange for another land which they planted and the forest is up. Then you have in cities, when you move in a Guru city, you move where the forests you're talking about are not there. It's buildings, high-rise buildings. So instead of lying ourselves, why don't we be honest and we say, where we have no forests, we come in, we realign, and then we stop. But we stop lying ourselves that we have a forest in Guru when we don't have it, when it's only high-rise buildings
Mr. Speaker, before
with the plans approved by government.
Mr. Speaker.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Prime Minister.
There are these isolated cases. They are isolated cases, and the Ministry of Environment will come here and give a comprehensive statement, especially about Guru. These isolated cases will be handled case by case.
Thank you. Honorable Yakatonda.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. That is a matter of national importance. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 5th of December 2022, one private Okawa Charles of Uwa, a work of Uganda Wildlife Authority, was killed by suspected poachers while on duty in Kidepo Valley Conservation Area. Right Honorable Speaker, on the fateful day, when he was in the company of 11 other colleagues patrolling, the enemy fired him and another colleague seriously injured and was rushed to Okotokam Medical Hospital in Kitugum Town. One poacher was killed, others fled, and one gun recovered. Right Honorable Speaker, tourism is one of the core foreign exchange earners of the country, fetching approximately about 1.6 billion. And is destined to double with all the efforts that have been put in place.
You see, I told you 1 minute you came. No, first switch off, please. I told you 1 minute, your time is up, you don't have the courtesy to even ask for more time, you just switch on. No, direct question. It's a question, it's not a matter of prayers. Question. What is your question?
Right Honorable, we pray that joint security be mounted to protect our ecosystem and our wildlife.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
And then, Right Honorable, just a quick one, lastly, is that Okawa left 7 children and a widow. Government takes over and with the education.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, it has been our practice, in case I have a minister amidst us, the Minister for Tourism is here, please come and give us the answer.
No, Minister, our answers are 1 minute.
Yes. Thank you so much, the Chair and the Right Honorable Prime Minister. I want to thank the Honorable Byakatonda for raising the matter. And indeed, it's true, this happened. But I want to thank government because we are trying to increase onto the staff to boost the rangers that we have. We are currently training around 860. They will be out very soon. But it's unfortunate that poachers go into these parks and kill these rangers. These are Ugandans that deserve to be protected. So I want to also support his message, but also encourage the other forces which are already giving us support to see how they supplement our efforts so that our rangers are protected. But it's unfortunate, and as UWA, we are going to support the family, but also take care.
Honorable Pierre Samuel.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, there are more than 16 villages in Erute North and Kole North constituencies that have been negatively affected by the quarrying works at Ale Rock in Lira-Kole border. As a result of that, more than 30 buildings have developed cracks because of the blasts. The community water points have been contaminated, and project-affected persons have not been compensated. We raised this matter to the Ministry of Works, who sanctioned an investigation by the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, and they made recommendations. However, it is now 6 months down the road. NEMA has refused to implement the recommendations of this investigation report to carry out an environmental audit. Our prayer is that you direct NEMA to immediately conduct these environmental audit investigations. And Right Honorable Speaker, we request that the Committee of Natural Resources oversees the implementation of this.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the Minister for Works is here. and I request him to come and stand in for me.
Mr. Speaker, I did visit the place with the honorable colleagues, and it is true that there are some challenges. I am therefore a little surprised that NEMA has not done its part. We did institute some investigation and we made recommendations. What I can only promise that I will follow with the colleague from Ministry of Environment and so that we can see what happens. In any case, I am again going back with the team very soon to assess the progress of the entire project. So that will be one of the issues we'll be looking at.
And ensure you involve the readers in your visits. Honorable Zinkwatira Henry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, my name is Zinkwatira Nkwasibu Henry MP Raham. Mr. Speaker, sir, 2 sub-counties in my constituency had an outbreak of anthrax mid last year. I made an effort to inform Minister in charge, Honorable Bright Bamlama, and vaccinations were made. However, our animals continued to die up to present day in large number. I made further effort to contact DVO, who advised me that we needed to spray those 2 sub-counties with soda ash, and farmers cannot manage. My request is government to intervene and supply farmers with soda ash. I so pray.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I know my ministers are in Namalere giving out tractors to the country to mechanize our country, and now they are not here. I promise that we get in touch with a member so that we can engage Minister of Agriculture and solve that problem.
Luckily enough, the minister has already been there. They know the problem, so it's taking further steps. Honorable Mutumba Abdul.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the matter I'm raising is related to shortage of medicines and essential supplies, medical supplies in Kiboga Hospital and other lower health units. Mr. Speaker, for the last 3 weeks or so, Kiboga Hospital that serves Kiboga District and the neighboring districts like Chankwanzi, Nakaseka and Kasanda has had no medicines and other essential supplies, and the health of our people in that area at risk, especially at this time when they are expecting the festive season, and most especially when the rate of accidents on the road, especially Kiboga-Hoima Road, is on the increase. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is that government immediately procures drugs, mobilizes medicines, so that we can save the lives of
Honorable colleagues, I need you to ask questions. So turn your prayers into questions. Right, Honorable Prime Minister? It's okay. The principle is captured.
Right Honorable Speaker, I worked as a Minister of Health, and I know the procedures of getting medicine from national medical stores. I would only request the member to link up with the Ministry of Health. Where possible, we can even organize, I can coordinate that meeting, and we see what has gone wrong. The fact is, medicine is supposed to be given to health centers, up to health center 2. And therefore, I am wondering why Chiboga is not getting medicine. So,
please, on matters of
but if he has information, I request that he brings it.
Right, Tony, we want to bring your rules here. That's for your meetings, not the house I'm chairing.
It's useful.
Huh? So, right, Honorable, here we go under rules of procedure. Rule 41 does not allow information on questions, okay, to the Prime Minister. Rule 41 is very clear. So, take up the issue. Right, Honorable Prime Minister. We have Honorable Christine Kayon Zoom. Colleagues, be patient. Prime Minister is here. I can see all of you are making for me signs. I should be next, I should be. You know, please settle. Honorable Christine Kaya on Zoom. Honorable Christine, okay. If Honorable Christine is not ready, we shall be informed when she's ready. Okay. Is she unmuted? Honorable Christine, we can't hear you. And maybe you increase on the volume. I'll get a signal from our IT team in case Honorable is ready. Honorable Macho?
Mr. Speaker, sir. Madam Prime Minister, 2021, I want to thank the NRM regime. They gave us a MATIP 3 project market of 21 billion and a validation factory of 15 billion. My question, Madam Prime Minister, why has the government decided through the Ministry of Local Government to nationally advertise the market? Moreover, the president, in his speech that made him get 79% votes in Busia, told the people that value addition factory is going to be given to the Busia Produce Dealers Association. Secondly, Madam Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, why do we still have load shedding in Busia to an extent that 9 women have died in Busia Health Center and Masab Health Center? Moreover, the load shedding continues even in a place where Honorable Boss, the minister in charge of security and internal affairs, come.
Right, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Macho, even in my area we have road shedding. Even in Rwachtura we have road shedding, so it's normal.
Right, Honorable Speaker. NRM is a government, not a regime. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of women dying in hospitals because of lack of electricity, to me is regrettable, because I was an RDC of Busia for more than 6 years. And I believe those especially Massaf Hospital was built under my supervision. And I remember we have a generator. I don't know what happened to those generators. Then Busia Health Center 4, I have been there like 3 times even when I'm a Prime Minister. What I can promise, Right Honorable Speaker, is for me to investigate what truly happened. Then the other issue of road shedding, what I know, Honorable Boss is the Minister of Defense, not internal affairs. But if there is road shedding even in his place, we need to do something. Because, colleagues, we have got vandalism of recent. We have to step up our game. Government has invested heavily to give us electricity. Heavily. But we have people who are saboteuring. And the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Security, and the Ministry of Defense have had a meeting under my chair. And we are saying enough is enough. We have deployed. I want to caution those people who have been steering our infrastructure that their days are numbered. And we have given a directive. You are God, you face it.
Thank you. Is Honorable Christine...
Right Honorable Speakers, for the markets, I will request the Ministry of Local Government to come here and give us a statement.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I've been informed of the issues of the market and the value addition facility in Busia. There are 2 different types of facilities. There is a market, which is under the local authority, and there is a value addition facility, which is a regional project. I'm scheduled to visit Busia municipality, sort out the issues there, and I'll inform the local authorities and the members of parliament. I thank you.
Thank you. Is Honorable Christine now audible? Okay. So let's go to Honorable Yovan Adrico.
Hello.
Yes, Honorable Christine Kaya.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My question to the Prime Minister is for us Chiboga people who are hosting a number of NRA veterans that stay in miserable households in Rwamata. We need a pronouncement. Will the government really compensate these people, or they should leave and go? We need a pronouncement from the Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
The member is enjoying somewhere else, but colleagues.
No. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Colleagues.
No, Right Honorable Prime Minister. That's not in order. We allow it under our rules. We allow Zoom, and the member is handling work. So that's unfair to a colleague.
I have seen it, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's go on, Right Honorable.
So, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the fact is the number of people who were mobilized and put in Rwamata. Some of those are our veterans who have not yet been compensated. The Ministry for Wero Rwenzori is here. I request her to come and give us more information.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I'm happy to be here. This is my maiden speech. The veterans of Rwamata have been there for quite a while. They were given money to go home, and we paid them Kasimo, all of them. Yes, there's
Sit on, Honorable.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh. Yes. Protect me, Right Honorable Speaker.
Colleagues, please, you're wasting your
I'm
time
giving my
because
maiden
I'm about to
speech.
close if we continue.
They were given ex gratia, that one-time thank you token, all of them, but they are mobilized always to come back. During COVID, they were paid money to go home, transport, but I'm surprised that they have come back. Government programs, my office is targeting them especially. We are giving them income-generating programs. I am going to go back and check on them, and I will report here, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Yovan Adrico. Honorable Shatsik Musherure.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Due to torrential rains that have hit Zimbabwe and other areas in the country, the Kagari Bridge connecting Zimbabwe to Gomba is now impassable. The embankment has been washed away. Honorable Rakojo and myself have been keen to work with the people in this area and assure them that something will be done on their behalf. Right Honorable Prime Minister, can you kindly help us know whether UNRA can take up this bridge and do urgent repairs, as well as adopt this bridge, because Sembabule district is not able to afford its maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I am directing a chweru here to go to Sembabule and make sure that that bridge is worked on for people to use it.
Thank you.
Permission to carry on.
Thank you. Honorable Rose Nantongo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on 26th August 2021, the Prime Minister informed this House that the Chotera Mutukula Road is going to be rehabilitated by September 2021. We as members of Parliament from Chotera, we met UNRA officials and they told us they do not have money to rehabilitate the road and it's going to be repaired. However, Right Honorable Speaker, this road is beyond repair, especially when you go to Mutukula Kakuto side. My question is, what is the current government plan to rehabilitate this road, and when exactly are you going to start working on the road? Thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, that is a priority road. Recently, you passed or you approved a loan for infrastructure programs, and the Mutukula road is one of those roads that will be worked on using that loan that we approved in this government, in this Parliament.
Thank you. Honorable Anne-Mary Tumwine.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, there was a loan which was passed here in December 2018, and it was supposed to work on roads in some districts, and in Toroko is one of them which benefited. And up to this day, the road had no objection. It acquired the no objection, and Solicitor General approved it. But up to today, this road has not started. I would like to know from the Minister of Local Government, because it's the one which acquired the loan, what happened and when is this road going to be worked on? The road is called Rwebsengo Kiranga Road in Ntoroko District, under legs.
Minister of Local Government, the question is, instead of wasting time calling the Prime Minister to call you, let's shoot right away.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The project called LEGS is not about Musa's legs. It's disturbing me. It's about local economic growth support. Ntoroko District is a beneficiary, and I'm aware of that road, Rwebisengo Kirangwa Road. There was a challenge of funding, but we've now been assured in the second phase we are going to make sure that the road is done. I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Christine Diwarana. Prime Minister is still with us.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Prime Minister, we have a problem of roads in my constituency. We have one main road running from Okaya to Kagologolo, but it passes via my constituency. But that road is under UNRA. But when you reach in your constituents, the constituents are like, don't come back next time, we are going to beat you if you can't repair our road. When I tried to call UNRA managers and the engineers, they are like, the bulldozers are dozing. Then I started wondering if there are people using the bulldozers who are dozing, or the dozers, whatever, road machines. Right Honorable Prime Minister, my question is, when are you going to work on that road? Because even if you are going to my constituents, as you were seeing me, we are going for recess, but I can't even access my constituency. Thank you so much.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, I'm sure you are not dozing.
Right Honorable Speaker, the bulldozers don't doze. But I want to assure colleagues, the fact is UNRWA had problems of funding. We have given them 300 billion this quarter, and the President directed that we do front loading. So by December, if the other money which we appropriated, which we approved the loan comes, these people will be given money to make sure that all the roads across the country are worked on. So then the bulldozers will not doze.
Honorable Susan Mugabe.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, 7 years back, the government extended the National Oil Palm Project to the islands of Vuma District, where approximately 7,500 hectares were acquired and 5,000 hectares were dedicated to the nucleus estate, where the rest of the land was for smallhold farmers. Right Honorable Speaker, today I bring to our attention that since 2017, over 2,600 project-affected persons in the sub-counties of Nairambi, Buoya, Buvuma Town Council, and Busamuzi have not been compensated. And yet the valuation processes were concluded and also their land being utilized currently. And yet we are so much aware that the Constitution provides for prompt payment, fair and adequate compensation for any property prior taking it. My question is, Right Honorable Prime Minister. One, when are our people in the Constitution? Sometime, please.
Right Honorable Prime Minister.
When are my people
Please,
going to be compensated?
Member, please, please.
Thank you.
That's indiscipline.
The Honorable has ever been to my office over the same, and I want to thank you, Honorable Vuma. At least there is some progress we are making towards helping your people. Those project-affected persons for palm oil growing. And of course, we want them also to join so that they can be outgrowers. The challenge has been money to compensate those people. So I want to promise you, honorable members, that we shall, together, me and you, look for a way of coming together with your district officials and have these people compensated.
Honorable Sylvia Kamwenge.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise on a matter of national importance of one Amanya Vivian, who was recruited 1 year
Honorable,
ago.
we are in questions Prime Minister's time, so continue.
Oh yeah, sorry, I can ask her directly. Right Honorable Prime Minister, there is a resident of Kamwenge district called Amanya Vivian, who was recruited 1 year ago by a recruiting company called Exinga Recruiting Company Limited, owned by a Ugandan called Joab. I have all the contact numbers, and was taken to the Middle East, particularly in Saudi Arabia, to offer domestic work services. She has been locked indoors for more than a week so far, but as I talk now, we have no communication with her, and she's under sexual terrorism, where the room is being...
Honorable, please. You have 1 minute to present your...
Okay.
What is your question?
The dog uses her sexually, then they again put it out. Now, my question is, when is this problem of our girls being tortured in the Middle East going to be solved once and for all? And when can we evacuate our girls as fast as we can? I thank you.
Right Honorable Prime Minister. Right Honorable Prime Minister, I need you on the floor. Honorable Atkins, I don't want anyone to disturb the Prime Minister this time. Kindly, after, you can engage the Prime Minister.
Honorable colleagues, this question has been here almost whenever I have Prime Minister's time. The Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with those countries where we take our children to work as domestic workers, are in direct contact to make sure that we have the human rights of our children protected. I cannot speak more than that now, but the issue is being taken care of. However, I request you, my sister, so you can come and we see how to now rescue that girl using our embassies the other side.
Thank you, Right Honorable. Honorable Rogers Mukasa.
My pleasure, Right Honorable Speaker. And let me acquaint the House that last week the chairman of the executive, during his televised address to the nation, he affirmed that...
Please, colleagues, when I give my directives in this House, respect them. Honorable Atkins, take your seat. Prime Minister must listen to the questions to be able to answer. Okay? Please, please, colleagues, please. So, yeah. Honorable Rogers, repeat your question so that the Prime Minister can hear.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. Recently, the head of the executive, during his televised address to the nation, he affirmed the existence of COVID-19, and we saw a need for ambulances, because as in the existence of ambulances is zero, totally zero. So I'm asking the Prime Minister that as in to give the status of the availability of ambulances, especially in Kampala district, such that we can curb the need.
Thank you. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the Minister for Health is here. In fact, I have two. I request that you allow them answer this question.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I appreciate the colleague concern, but I want to say that during COVID-19, the Minister of Health received some donations of ambulances, and Kampala was one of the beneficiaries. When funds are available again, we are in a process to procure more, and we shall still find how to distribute them. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable and Mayanja.
Right Honourable Minister, my constituency in Nakaseke Central, the so-called Mecca for NRM government, does not have any single tarmac road and no single health center for. Right Honourable Prime Minister, when are you upgrading Chikamu Health Center 3 to grade 4? And Tamaking, Luwelo Chiwoko Mutalango road, which you have promised for 36 years. Thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the President was in Luwero recently, and he directed me to have a meeting with leaders, which I did, and that road came up, and when it came up, Honorable Musechwere was with me. It's one of the priority roads. The designs were already done. Procurement process is supposed to be concluded by December, so that that road is really tarmacked, so that the maker of Luwero really benefits from this government.
Thank you.
In Uganda, they say Maso Kulutimbe.
Honorable Chaka, Pauline.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Aware that it's a government policy to establish a seed secondary school in every sub-county,
which the government has endeavored to implement. However, there is a challenge with some of the recruited teaching staff in these schools. They do not execute their mandate. Instead, they hire other people to teach in their place, most especially in hard-to-reach areas. And they hire, some are not even teachers, some hire senior 6 dropouts. So my prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is that the Minister of Education should enhance due diligence and carry out impromptu visits and also embrace strategic supervision in order to unearth and bring to book all the culprits. Some of these head teachers and teachers do not respect the DEOs and inspectors in these districts because they claim to have godfathers in the Ministry of Education. This is countrywide, not only in one district.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Honourable Speaker, I look at this as a very big issue. Because if we have recruited teachers and somebody hires a senior 6 dropout, to me this is criminal. And this must stop. And therefore the Minister of Education is here. I don't know whether he has something to add. We shall investigate and act accordingly.
I think that's conclusive enough.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Prime Minister. Right Honourable Speaker, I only want to add that I want to interest myself after maybe the House. I meet with my colleague, I get more information so that we can follow it up on the subject matter. Shazai. Thank you.
Honourable Mwijuche Francis.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, my concern is that because of the heavy rains for the last two months, most parts of the country, most bridges have been washed away, and some roads destroyed, specifically the UNRA roads. When we talk to UNRA, they tell us we are under a lot of pressure. We have only received 10% of the funds. And the Prime Minister just told us a few minutes ago that they have received a lot of money. So I want to know, do they have the money? If they don't have the money, what happens? Because most of the bridges have been washed away and the roads are destroyed. Most parts of the country, where I speak for Bweru, but I know it's in most parts of the country because they even said we are overstretched. Thank you very much.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I request the member to be specific so that I can also base my action on what he really wants. He has been so general and I have no answer.
Thank you. Honourable Noah Wanzara, unfortunately the rules don't allow me. Honourable Noah Wanzara. But we are going to follow up that matter, Honourable Mwijuche.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, Minister of Defence constructed a radar in Nakasongola Town Council on Songira Hill in 2019. Right Honourable Prime Minister, a number of houses, when they were constructing the road, were directly affected, and others were indirectly affected. Those who were directly affected, they were compensated. But those ones who are indirectly affected, the 250 houses, have not been compensated to date. I've engaged the Minister of Defence. I've gone to Minister of Defence on several occasions. I've wrote correspondences to the Minister of Defence. I've reached you, Right Honourable Prime Minister. I've given directives, but the Minister of Defence is not responding. My question, Right Honourable Prime Minister, when will the people of Nakasongola, whom their houses were indirectly affected, be compensated? I beg to ask. I thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Honourable Boss or Boss.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Honourable Noah Mutebi is the area MP of where we have all the facilities of ministry of Defense, some of the facilities. What is raising is not new, and I think we need adequate time to fast track and report back to the House. But he has been engaging us. Let him not get tired.
Let the relevant committee take note of that,
yes,
so that we can support. Honorable Tamaguzi.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. My question to the Right Honourable Prime Minister is about Matuga Semuto Kapeka Road. That road has been in the budget since 2016. Up to now, nothing has been done, and several accidents happen on that road almost on a daily basis. So I'm inquiring whether there is any progress on that road from government. Thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I have used that road in the recent past, like a month ago. The road is really bad. You really feel that we need to do something. And I want to promise that that road has been given to a company called Abubeka. They are going to start working on it in January. All the procurement processes are concluded. Just wait, we are going to work on that road. It is bad.
Honorable Soroka Yemba.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Today, Umeme has confirmed to the country that the government is not going to renew its contract. So, my question to the Prime Minister, how is the government going to handle that transition? Is the government going to give that work to a private company again or to a government agency? The country needs to know, because that's a very critical issue to avoid the mistakes that have been done.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I believe this country knows that we have an able leader in the names of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And we have successfully taken trouble to go through all the preliminaries. The contract will not be renewed. And the country will not end with Umeme. We have so many companies of government. So I want to assure this House that the transition period will be handled very well. And I'm telling you.
Thank you. And the sectoral committee in charge will be following up that matter. Honorable Saro Pendi, followed by Honorable Temugi Isaac.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. In 2012, government issued regulations banning the transportation of children under 12 years unaccompanied on borders. Right Honourable Speaker and members, most of you could be moving around and seeing, especially during school time, children 5, 4 still being carried on borders unaccompanied, and yet the regulations are there. So, Right Honourable Speaker, Prime Minister, what is the government doing in implementing its own laws and regulations?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, we have the custodian of law amidst us. I request the Attorney General to help me answer that question.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, like the Honourable Member said, the regulations are on the book, and it is a question of enforcement. And we are doing everything that we can to try and enforce the laws. And it is really a challenge, but we really need to work together. When you see them, please assist us and report them to us so we can follow them up. I beg to submit.
Honourable Temugi Isaac.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, on the 12th of November, I attended a road committee in my district of Nebi district, and I was sad to learn that actually our district grader had parked for over a month because there is a new directive from the Ministry of Works that all graders or mechanical equipment in the district should not be serviced within the district anymore. It should go within the regional offices. But the problem is they are not servicing them on time. So as a result, the grader had actually stood parked for 1 month just because of changing oil. Luckily enough, I got in touch with the Honorable Minister of Local Government, and he issued a directive that the local government, that the district leaders go ahead and service it using the road fund. But why has this directive been issued, and yet actually they are not doing timely servicing of these vehicles through the regional offices? Thank you.
Right, Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, some of these directives are in good faith. The local governments have been complaining of lack of money to service these machines. And I believe if we service these machines with the right oil, right, we shall have these machines for quite some long time. But the minister is here. You can add something.
Former Minister of Disaster Works. Mr. Speaker, when we got this equipment across the districts, initially we decided to put regional workshops for the servicing. The idea was, like what the Right Honourable was correctly observed, quality of the service that would continue to extend to those equipment. We realized that the resources could not allow us to decentralize adequately, and that's why sometimes there's been a backlog. We have had a discussion with the Minister of Local Government where we have issued a position that allows the local governments to do minor repairs like what has been described by my colleague. I think the question of NEBI now is the question of implementation. And that will be something that we are going to share again and communicate to all the districts. We are going to communicate to all the districts and make sure that all these district engineers will abide by the directive that we have given. Minor repairs will be handled in the districts, only those critical ones that will take to the regions. But even the regions, we are trying to create more workshops. For example, West Nile very soon will not be having all their machines going to Gulu. They will be in Aroa, and the same will be for some parts of.
Honorable Tuka Isaac.
Right Honourable Speaker, for the last 28 years, the Anyiribo Ofaka Ulepi Road has never been worked upon, rehabilitated, even when the President has written 2 directives, which I'm going to lay on table.
Your 1 minute is going.
I want to ask when the road will be worked upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Right Honourable Prime Minister. The Minister for Works has heard.
It is Anyiribo Ofaka Ulepi Road.
The Minister for Works can help you. Honourable Chweru.
Mr. Speaker, I will want to give precise facts when I get back the details on how much we have progressed. Yeah. I know the name of the road is a bit scary, but we will.
Thank you. Honorable Gafabusa.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Prime Minister, I reported here some time back about pieces of land sinking, not landslides. This morning, Bundibugyo Fort Portal Road, just 2 kilometers from Bundibugyo town, has been affected greatly, and if there is no urgent attention...
Is that what we see on the screens?
Yes, what you are seeing now, even the railroads you can see have collapsed. Would you please immediately send a team to Bundibugyo, maybe UNRWA or Ministry of Works, to salvage the situation? This is the only road that connects us to the rest of the world. If it collapses, we cannot move anywhere.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right Honourable Prime Minister? I think this is submission with evidence.
The member has done us proud. The Honourable Minister has seen, everybody has seen, and therefore I now again direct you to go to Bundibugyo tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes. Honourable Granny, I hope. Granny, I hope.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Prime Minister, we all know that Mubende and Kasanda are under lockdown for over 50 days now. And you remember, during COVID time, His Excellency the President mentioned that a lockdown is always put as we plan and prepare for a long-lasting response. Right Honourable Prime Minister, now I believe that has been enough time for us to prepare as government to respond to this outbreak without affecting the economies of Mubende District and Kasanda. Right Honourable Prime Minister, the question is, when are we planning to open up Mubende District and Kasanda? Last week on Saturday, we had a Biaruhanga Lawrence, a father of 6 who committed suicide. And previously, we also lost a senior 1 student who also committed suicide. And this is attributed to the lockdown. Could we please have this lockdown lifted?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, the interventions and responses we have undertaken since September, when we had the outbreak of Ebola, have yielded results. Because according to the reports we have now, we have tried to suppress any COVID cases. I mean Ebola cases. The Minister of Health is here. Can you please come and elaborate and see how we can help our people?
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker and the Right Honourable Prime Minister. Currently, we don't have anybody in any hospital. All patients have been treated and released from hospitals, and we have had 56 deaths since Ebola. But the problem, which I've also explained to the woman MP for Mubende, is that we've got to wait for the people who are under quarantine to finish their 21 days. Now, the 21 days elapse on the 17th of this month, which is 9 days away. So if we can be patient until these 21 days elapse, and these people test negative for Ebola, then we'll be able to open. That's the last day when we shall open.
Honourable Dome Frank.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I raised an issue here a while ago regarding the poor state of government-aided schools in Karamoja region. Honourable Speaker, I want to ask the Prime Minister whether government has plans of rehabilitating some of these schools, because we have had a very big challenge, especially with insecurity. As leaders of Karamoja, we agreed through the regional council that one of the ways we can combat these problems is through keeping schools, students in schools. So we have a few schools in Karamoja, especially I want to talk about Morota High School that was built in 1965. Up to date, where they are still operating on the same facilities. So I want to call upon government to see how they can address this issue. So I want also to hear from the Prime Minister whether they will have any plans to do with the same issue. Thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Do we have Karamoja? But Minister of Education, Right Honourable Speaker, the Minister of Education can help me answer this. Then lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, my time ended.
Right Honourable, today Nairobi, do you much earlier in the presence of rope? That we have very many issues of members, but we are concluding.
Thank you very
We are
much.
about to conclude.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. First of all, I would like to thank my colleague for raising that matter. I want to pledge that I'll be able to bring a statement in line with the question which the honourable members raised, not only Morot High School, there's also Kitobere, those great schools. The minister has a plan, but allow me bring a statement here formally to update the country on what plans we have.
Thank you. Dr. Ningsima Paul.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Our Prime Minister, I want to help my neighbor, Honourable Francis Mwizche, to be specific, because that's what he wanted from him. There is a Unura road that connects Ibanda and Buweju. There is a bridge that is called the Changwahanda. It was washed away by running water on 21st November. On 23rd, there is a border cyclist called Turyasima Chrysostom who was drowned and died from the same point. So if we don't handle this Changwahanda bridge as an emergency, more people are going to die. So kindly, Madam Right Honourable Prime Minister, give me the exact time when that bridge is likely to be worked on.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Now that it is specific, I want to thank you. And now I will direct the minister because he knows where to go now. But before it was like he will go out throughout the country looking for Chamwanda Bridge. Now he will go to Chamwanda Bridge next week.
Thank
go
you.
to Chamwanda Bridge.
Honourable Flavia Nabagabe.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Prime Minister, I am following up on the Ebola lockdown issue. Yesterday I was approached by 135 students from the Greater Mubende Students Association with a great concern of how the lockdown has affected them. They can no longer access food from their homes because parents can no longer be able to provide for them, and so they have been chased out of their hostels, and they also don't have what to eat. This greatly impacts the young girls, especially in Kampala, in the universities. So my questions to you are two. One, what are you planning to do for our students so that they can be able to get food relief during this extended time that we are waiting for the lockdown to be lifted? And the second one is, what plans do we have? Can you direct universities to stop expelling students from universities, those that have failed to pay tuition, but also those that have failed to pay accommodation, because they have nowhere to go since we are under lockdown and parents.
Thank you. Right Honourable. But most of the accommodation in universities is private. Very few, but for those ones who are government, Right Honourable Prime Minister, you can comment.
Right Honourable Speaker, now that we have a few days to go, I wanted to request Ugandans to be patient so we can save life fast. But also maybe the Ministry of Education has something to do with the hostels. Please come here and add
First of all, thank you so much, Right Honourable Prime Minister and Right Honourable Speaker. I would like to implore my colleague, I'm ready to have a chat with her, specifically on the subject, a chat on the subject matter she has raised. The reason why I'm saying so, some of you are surprised. I know her very well. She's a daughter of the revolution, so we know ourselves better. But Honorable Musa, can I speak, submit? for the purposes of the subject matter she has raised, is a matter I'm going to take it up with the ministry, then we'll be able to communicate on that. Thank you.
Okay, I think what is important is first identifying the numbers. The moment you identify the numbers, working with the representatives, then you're able to intervene. Honorable Namukuta Brenda.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker.
Right Honourable Prime Minister, listen to your Honourable Member, Namukuta Brenda.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. My question is, in Kaliro District, it is now 2 years since they started connecting electricity. Up to today, we have never seen any sub-county nor a village that has started lighting in Kaliro. My question is to the Prime Minister. When will power start lighting in Kaliro District? Thank you so much.
Right Honourable Prime Minister. Honorable Kasai is around.
Honorable Kasai. I want him, can I direct? I think it's better I direct. I am directing you to go and light Kaliro.
Honorable, please, you don't need to come, and what we need is to ensure that Kaliro is lit quickly. Honorable Rulme Bayiga.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, the General Manager of National Medical Store has confirmed to me that 7 weeks now does not have money, does not have medicines and supplies to the various health facilities. Would the Prime Minister, with this information, tell us what emergency actions they want to do in order to ensure that National Medical Store gets the requisite funding so that they can supply our hospitals with medicines? Thank you.
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I believe this is not true, because as a government we have channels of communication. I am the lead of government business in this country. And I'm wondering why the NMS official can call you and not me. So members, take that as a lie, and I will even investigate him.
Thank you. Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to thank my honourable sister. Today she's earned her pay for the staying power she's exhibited. Two, we missed her for the time she was away, not only when she went to represent the Minister of Education in Japan. I can assure you, my sister, that humility will one day take you to the galaxy. So I thank you. I'll respond to a few issues she did speak about. I'll not be very elaborate. One, Right Honourable Speaker, the question that was initially misconstrued to have been asked by the Honourable Musa No and Notu Wanzala remains valid. And I think the Right Honourable Prime Minister should take it very seriously. The issue of registration of pupils in primary schools. When the member did complain about the distance, parents have to move to have their children registered. And the Prime Minister did insist that actually the parents should find their way to the districts. Can I challenge the Prime Minister to some degree of imagination and creativity by government? If I were the Prime Minister, I would utilize the young people that are educated with no jobs, put those apps on their phones and send them to schools. Right from the Prime Minister, there's a challenge. Please engage people to be a bit innovative. You need people to be more imaginative and solve this problem. In my government, that wouldn't be a problem. Right on the Prime Minister. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue raised by the Honourable Achayo Julie, Member of Parliament for Angola, relating to the challenge of education and lack of vocational schools in the community, having given a background of insecurity, I think again it speaks to some level of lack of deeper thought on part of the planners in education. And I want to invite for some level of ingenuity on those planning for our education system. Our country is not uniform. In Karamoja, for example, there was a well-done program of basic education in Karamoja that enabled so many children to access education then. And their education was different from that of Masaka, for example, because they are unique. Will the Prime Minister think better about this challenge and challenge the Ministry of Education, think through how they can best solve this problem without having to refer this community to a time when the government will hazard and construct vocational schools, because I'm not sure how long this government is going to last. So we need some immediate solutions. Your government has been around long, and the problem persists. You probably need to think better and offer a quicker solution. Thirdly, Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of the Busoga Central Forest Reserve. It's a bigger problem. I want to invite the Prime Minister to find occasion and visit with the Honourable Dr. Rume Bayiga the Central Forest Reserve in Ebuyikwe and Mukono generally. There is a big problem. First of all, NFA is abusing its powers and is causing very grave environmental damage. I do not know whether it is being supervised or there are some other entity operating in their own world. I want to invite you to visit with the Honourable Dr. Rume Bayiga, or actually ask him to invite you to go and see the level of damage caused to our environment by NFA by actually cutting down a natural forest and planting eucalyptus in square miles of land. And they're still doing so. The Central Forest Reserve, part of it in Ebuyikwe where there's huge damage. Of course, you know what happened on Omitiana Road is entirely down and you see eucalyptus rising. There's a problem. Right Honourable Speaker, the other issue relates to the matter by my Honourable sister from Muvuma, who thinks she's taken leave, relating to the compensation of PAPs. 7 years is not actually lack of funds, it's actually gross negligence. We know the Land Attorney General will tell you that if that happened, even after 2 years, they have an obligation to revalue these assets. The question is, have they done so? Have they taken care of the social cost of adjustment to these communities and embed it within the entire cost, the cost of compensation? So, Right Honorable Prime Minister, it's not just now about compensation. The inordinate delay, the delay is inordinate. It cannot be about money. It can't be about money. There's a lot of money floating around. 7 years, people get surrendering their land. There's a problem. Right Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, the issue raised by my honorable sister from Kamwenge, Honorable Sylvia, relating to a young lady being abused in the Middle East, should hold all of us in a way to hesitate. First of all, the Prime Minister needs to inform this House of Parliament how many citizens have so far been returned and how many have not yet been returned.
Information.
Honorable colleague, it's not allowed under Rule 41. Read the Rule 41 of our Rules of Procedure. Rob, continue.
So the Prime Minister owes this House this information so that we can best understand where the problem is. And of course, to the Minister of Gender, they owe us an explanation. Why is this continuing? Who is not doing their job? Because almost weekly, these matters come on the floor of Parliament. So what's happening? And as leaders in this country, we shall be held to have let down our people in having an end to this abuse of our citizens. There's no country that can allow abuse of its citizens when they have leaders. So, Right Honorable Prime Minister, we need to have a better understanding. Is it tacit collusion by agencies and our ministries or embassies? Is it negligence? So we need to understand that better. Right Honorable Speaker, on this leg, lastly, the question by the member from Kampala on ambulances deserved a better response. My friend, the Minister of Health, did state that the ministry, the government is in the process. Process, I did say again, governments are never in processes. The government have well explainable stages. A government in the process is a non-existent government. So are you on procurement? Question is, how many ambulances? 2, to which facilities? 3, when are they coming? So we need, these are the answers members of Parliament desire to go and speak to their people so that they can understand that actually there is a government. Honorable Speaker, it's not easy to have in this House of Parliament the Minister of Defense. Yes, not easy to have him. He's a very busy man. The Deputy CDF, General, and the Prime Minister at the same time. It's not easy. So will these 3 hazard a single answer as to whether a general in the name of General Muhoozi is still part and under the UPDF Act, or actually is an outlaw, and therefore the community people should keep guard of his presence in their midst? He's issuing threats. His last was the effect that when he gets into power, journalists who are intimidating him and insulting him will see he'll crush them. So is this gentleman still under the ambit of the laws of the land or an outlaw? Right Honorable Prime Minister, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother Rob. This is a question that does not fall under Rule 41. Rule 41, sub-rule 9 clearly states Rob will comment or reply. It doesn't allow him to ask supplementary questions. So, no, we read Rule 41 because under here, you are commenting as a leader of opposition, not a mayor MP. Not anyone can be you, can be leader of opposition. So that one, Right Honorable Prime Minister, you don't have any way of replying. But I know in the corridors today we have a dance. It's an issue you can discuss. And because of doing very well, Right Honorable Prime Minister, today we've given you an honor to open our dance. House adjourned to Tuesday at 2 p.m.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
MTN kutusako Shimba Life ku Kampala Serena Hotel Victoria Hall Friday nga mwena December Negu Saturday nga 10 December